Well, good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Thursday. Great to be here with you. Thank you so much for listening. If you listen live, we always appreciate that, certainly. If you are a podcaster and you listen via the podcast, thanks for hanging in with us yesterday. Had a little glitch, and people were really concerned. They thought we got blown out. And it happens in radio. One morning you're listening to your favorite show. The next morning, they're not there. And no one tells you why. And it's happened. I've been here 15 years. It's happened a dozen times where they didn't even say goodbye. They're just out. So we are here. And if you do listen to the podcast, I believe all the issues have been resolved. So you should be able to get the podcast, listen at your leisure. Really appreciate it. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Ryle, the executive producer, who caught probably most of the emails and DMs yesterday about, Paulie, where's the podcast?
Yeah, super fun yesterday.
Super
I had
fun.
so much fun
Those
yesterday.
are such fun days. So Paulie is here. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. And Benjamin, did you get any DMs or anything about the podcast being missing? Where are you guys? I can't find you.
No, I saw our tweets about it.
Yes.
But I didn't know one was actually contacting me saying, I miss you. Where are you?
Well, I went to the...
Maybe I don't... People don't complain to me as much. I
don't think
understand.
So. I went to the DMs of our Instagram, and I go, oh, my God. What?
Yeah.
There was like 50, and I'm like, well, we didn't really have that great of a show. So my guess is they're not going to be like, hey, this was so funny. I started going through them, and it was screenshots of no podcasts in their queue. And I said, got a glitch, man, working through it. Got a glitch, working through it. Got a glitch, working through it. Got a glitch, working through it. Just kind of copy and paste to each person. But yeah, so we should be good to go moving forward, I hope.
Ultimately, yeah, it should be fine. It was weird because it's not like yesterday's podcasts were the only ones that weren't uploading or something. It was every episode we've ever published to, like, we're talking Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or whatever.
Yeah.
They were erased. Gone.
Fully.
No existence of Ben. And so I can understand why people are like, whoa, did you guys, everything okay? Yeah, had a ton of people reach out, which was a little bit of a headache, but I do want to say I appreciate everyone that reached out. I had one guy in particular, I think it was Wyatt. He messaged me, he goes, hey man, you don't even have to respond to me. I'm sure you got a bunch of people reaching out. Just wanted to let you know the podcasts aren't showing up. I'm like, I know. And I wrote back, I go, hey, I appreciate you reaching out. I'd rather have 1,000 people reach out to me with the same concern.
That means they're listening.
Then nobody notice or nobody care and nobody reach out at all.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
Ooh.
That's not what you want. I just realized too, if you look at us, we look like complete and total buffoons right now on the YouTube feed. We're all in black tees. This was not planned. It was not planned. We look ridiculous.
Like every 6 weeks.
You're getting a lot of, are you going to a funeral? What's going on? You guys look like a backstage
I'm going to
crew on a play.
Funeral in my joggers, my black tee. And
No,
my
I
Sonics
think
hat.
that's it. We're the backstage crew. La Jolla Playhouse. Come see Rent at the La Jolla Playhouse and see us, work on the lighting and stuff.
We did not wear this because Matt Waldron got crushed. We did not wear it because the Padres season is dead. We didn't wear it. We're not in mourning.
We wore it because we're fat.
And yeah, black always.
If you really want to know,
I look good in black.
Right,
I don't know what to tell you.
secret's out.
There it is. Yeah, if I could get pinstripes going down it, I would.
We're both on the Roundtable later today.
Yes.
So, you see us and we just figure, I'll just clean black will be a nice look for the Roundtable. I didn't know you were going to wear it. I didn't know Paulie was going to wear it.
My wife says you guys look like MAC makeup artists. Yeah, you come into Nordstrom's and there we are at the MAC counter. Like, what's your problem? Yeah, no, I can see those massive bags under your eyes. Come here, get over here for a second. Yeah, it looks ridiculous. We look ridiculous. I can't even look at the screen.
The lines, can you, Russ?
I can't even look at the screen, dude. We look stupid. Jeez.
We don't have any more T-shirts here. I'll wear a 97.3 shirt if we have one. It's building somewhere.
Do we have a towel I can drape around my neck or something? Anything? A scarf? This looks absurd. It's really throwing me off.
I was gonna wear my ass shirt that you got us yesterday.
You should.
But I thought, well, clearly one of the other guys is gonna also wear their shirt tomorrow, so I don't need to wear it. We gotta do we have to coordinate? Do we have to start texting each other?
I guess.
Right.
Jose says, so Paul will be a part of the Roundtable. That would be awesome. Yeah, you're more than you can have my slot today. Kurt says, Woodsy, take the shirt off. Absolutely not, Kurt. I'm not going to sit here, Kurt.
various stages of undress.
I'm not going to. So quit asking.
We look ridiculous. We look ridiculous, and it sucks. And I can't believe it, and I hate it. We really do. We really look stupid.
Oh. There was a day, it was a couple weeks ago at Channel 10, and Kimberly Hunt was doing the news, I think alongside Lindsay Pena. And they both just happened to be wearing orange dresses on the same day.
Which pops.
Which pops.
Yeah.
And it's such an unusual color that they both chose to wear on the same day, on the same show. And there's not much you can do about it. It's, you think, are there text threads every day? Like, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? Make sure that we don't wear the same thing. There isn't really,
No.
at least not at our level of television. You just pick what you're going to wear and you wear it when you come in. And then all of a sudden you get there and you go, oh, this is going to look kind of silly because we're wearing the same thing.
It looks so bad.
I'm gonna bring like an old hoodie or a different T-shirt and just leave it
here.
Leave it in the office.
Well, I usually have a hoodie, but it's 150 degrees outside.
I always wear a
and
hoodie.
It's
but
100 degrees in here every single. Yeah, we look like waiters at a wedding. Yeah, we look like waiters at a wedding. May I take your order, please?
Order?
I would like to order up a dub tonight. I hate the Mets. God, do I hate the Mets, man. I really, really want. And 4 games with these guys. Oh, my God. So, yeah, we've got that to talk about today. We've got the conundrum of Matt Waldron and what you do with him moving forward. And it's not a good trend. The thing that makes me most sad about Matt Waldron, it's his face. He always looks like he's in serious emotional pain. He looks like when I raise my voice to my kids, specifically Taylor, he gives me Matt Waldron has Taylor face. And then I start to feel bad immediately. So I even feel bad talking about Matt Waldron's bad performance yesterday because of you see it?
Well, I certainly saw the shots of him sitting in the dugout afterwards, hands.
The Kershaw. Yeah, he
in
was
his
doing the
head,
full Kershaw.
Yeah,
that
just
bit.
puts his hands on his forehead, looking down, and it's very sad. And
yeah, it's sad. Well, you sit there and you watch that. That's that. I know exactly what shot you're talking about because I saw it too, and it has to be running through your head. Am I done? Am I washed? He's basically a rookie, right? This is my rookie year, and I'm not getting the job done, and we're in a pennant race. Yeah, man, I would say that would freak me out a little bit too if I could not get it together. And I guess in his defense, offense had a chance early, didn't do a damn thing, didn't do anything. Had a chance to get on the board after a clean first inning, and they did nothing. So you're not gonna win a lot of games when your starting pitcher gives up 7 runs. You're just not. So, hey, listen, it is what it is. We move on today. I don't know what you do with him moving forward. I'm sure we will have some theories and conversations about that, but Ben already kind of dove into off the air what's down on the farm per se, and that ain't good either. So, listen, not to be doom and gloom because we're not 13-5 in August. Great team out of the break. No worries, man. You took the series at the end of the day from the Twins. Let's relax and have fun. I know, again, we look like we're going to a funeral. This is not a Padres funeral at all, but Matt Waldron's sad face made me sad because he has a very, very sad face.
Does the beard accentuate the sad face, perhaps?
When he cut his hair, I was like, okay, now that's your look. You look great. He cut his hair, and he was really sharp and angular. He's looked good. But, man, when things start going south, you see, the face kind of just start to droop a little bit. He's upset. And I get it. You're not helping your team.
I feel like he looks like a serious doctor sometimes.
Do you?
They'll put a lab coat on him.
I don't get that.
Maybe a psychologist, and you walk in, and he's got kind of a serious bearded face.
Reminds me of like a sad puppy, dude. He's got the sad puppy face, And then we know he's a competitor. You don't make it to the big leagues without being a competitor. He has sad face, and that makes me sad. So that's where my head's at.
But even when he's pitching well,
it still has sad face.
It's still sad face. Let's not.
He's maybe it's just permanent sad face.
I don't want to confuse everybody. He's not necessarily sad because things haven't been going well. Even when things were going well, you think he still has kind of sad face.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, not not 10 in the outing. Yeah, not 7 in an inning, 10 total in the outing. Yeah, that's worse than what I said. So you're just not going to win a lot of ball games when that happens. But we will plow forward. We will move on. We will talk about yesterday's game. Not a lot of things to highlight. There's a couple of things that you can look at if you want to look at positives moving forward. I did not hear any of Mike Schultz post game. I was kind of over it at that point. Did anybody happen to hear any?
I listened to the whole thing.
How was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
All right.
it was very.
It was very unmemorable.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as it should be. You're going to have
Well, Wallner, hit a big shot in the
yeah,
second, and then
the recap. Okay,
he
that's
came
which is
back.
fine. Which is
Waldron,
fine.
there was
he's
some-
been really good for us for a long
Yeah.
time, and
There was some back and forth about
Yeah.
Waldron, and he's one of the guys that got them to this point. I don't, regardless of if he gets dominated every outing for the rest of this season, that guy still stepped up and got us to this point.
Well, yeah, 100%. And Wesley had just made the point that we made yesterday. I said it, and I'll wear it completely. Hey, man, he gets through the first inning clean. You feel like you're in pretty good shape because that's not something he's done a lot of. And, boy, he got through the first inning clean, got through the second inning clean, got through the third inning
Gave
clean.
up one run in the third.
One in the third. That was the third or the fourth?
Third.
Third, okay.
Fourth is when he gave up 7.
By the way, the Twins scoring first was maybe the easiest money I made all year. Just FYI, yesterday, maybe the
The
easiest
Padres had
money.
a couple of
They had.
chances to
I was
not make
sweating
that
it.
easy money.
I was sweating it a little bit. But, yeah, it was just, look, I understand, man, that, look at the face, the sad face. Paulie put it in there.
But he could have just, found out the best news of his life.
He could have just struck out the
That
side.
might be a picture after a 7 innings, 1-run performance, and he's walking off in success. We don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, man. That's a tough one. Look, they're a good team. They were scratching to salvage a win yesterday. They got it, and they just bodied the Padres yesterday. So what? You won the series. You move on. Mets come to town. You got to reshift your focus, and you like what you have going against the Mets the next few days, and should be a really, really good playoff atmosphere type series against the New York Mets. So anyway, we will get to that, and we will get to more, and Ben will set the menu for us next.
That is next. Kelly Danick's got traffic. We are underway. We'll be here for the next 4 hours and 47 minutes if you include the roundtable. So lots of Ben and Woods on a Thursday morning on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Kind of lamenting the fact this morning that Padres, we would have taken 2 out of 3 against the Twins. And when we started this series, the analysis, and I think it still is correct, very evenly matched teams.
Sure.
Record-wise, run differential, place in the standings, fighting for the playoffs. Good team, Minnesota Twins coming into town. 2 out of 3 is what you're going for against good teams like that. And the Padres did their job, took their 2 out of 3. That's a very successful series. But they lost ground to both the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers in the NL West, who both swept their opponents, their M opponents, the Mariners and the Marlins, in their series. So the Padres now start a 4-game series against the Mets, 4 games behind the Dodgers, and tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks in the National League wildcard race. They're still 4 games up on the Braves. They're 5.5 games up on the Mets. And that's a big series starting tonight because, well, I mean, do the math. You're 5.5 games up on the Mets. They're the first team that's not in the playoffs. So that's kind of that's the danger team. You know, the Braves and Diamondbacks could catch you, and you're still in the playoffs. But if the Mets catch you, then you're not in the playoffs anymore. They're 5.5 back. They've got 4 chances. You're telling me that it's not going through the heads of Mets fans, certainly, and probably in their clubhouse as well. I know it's a tough challenge, but if we could go into San Diego and we sweep this series, we're all of a sudden a game and a half back in the playoff chase.
Crazy.
And we are absolutely have all the momentum with 1 month left in the season trying to steal a playoff spot from the Padres or anybody else. So, big series starting tonight at Petco Park. Big series. One of the biggest ones remaining, I would say, in the regular season.
No question. And I think you can copy and paste big series and just plug it in for the rest of the year. I mean, depending on what you're, as a fan, depending on what you're expecting. You know, if you're expecting them to win the division, then, yeah, I mean, you need to win a ton of games moving forward, and you need help more than likely. So if you're expecting them to just back into the playoffs or eke into the playoffs, it's not going to be a last fun month or so for you, right? And they got to get this thing figured out today, tomorrow. They got to get, what is your goal in a 4-game set, right? I mean,
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. That's what you want. You want 3 out of 4. It's going to be a tough.
Well,
going to be a tough order.
Cease, Musgrove, King.
Yes, sir.
To start. I mean,
yeah.
There you go.
That's it. I mean, go get them.
Go get them.
Yeah, go get them.
3 out of 4. Need them.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. This is what you live for. If you're a fan of a baseball team, there's a lot of other morning shows for a lot of other teams right now that are not talking this way. I was surprised that. A couple leads, the Marlins have just been ravaged. They've been ravaged. They traded away all their players, right? And then obviously the Mariners with their brilliant pitching cannot get a lot of runs across the plate right now. So listen, didn't get any help at all. 1, 2, or 3, still lost a game. It's going to happen, so you got to regroup and just handle your business.
All right, coming up on the program, we'll have our Padres wrap-up in our next segment. Obviously, not a good one, but some issues to discuss, including the aforementioned Matt Waldron and his spot in the starting rotation. 7 o'clock hour, usual features. We've got a Throwback Thursday, which means we'll play a little real or fake, try to qualify someone for our trip to Las Vegas, the Carrie Underwood tickets. Don't do this at 7:20. 7:35, we can get into some more Padres talk. Second half of the program, Paulie's got some Throwback Thursday clips for us, as he always does. I always enjoy that part of a Throwback Thursday show. 8:35, our Smart Baseball segment. Eno Saris from The Athletic will check in. He had an interesting piece this week, and I hadn't realized this, but it was on mound heights. I guess I just assumed that in Major League Baseball, every mound was the exact same height because, uniformity, and it's supposed to be exactly the same, but it's not. And they can measure it based on, release point and angle and all the, the equipment that they have to do that. Petco Park actually has one of the lower mounds in baseball.
Interesting.
90 feet and 60 and a half for the mound are pretty much the only uniformity in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, the
fences are all different.
The stadiums are different. The playing surface is different. Did you guys catch that little moment yesterday when Mason
McCoy got his first hit. I saw that.
Matt McCoy. Mason McCoy goes out to short for his first appearance, and he looks over at, I think it was Solano, and did you see when the camera went to him? He goes, "Is it fast? Is it fast? Is the ground?" and Solano was like, "What?" And he goes, he pointed at the ground. He goes, "Is it fast?" different playing surfaces, different. You know,
there's a difference even between like AAA and the big leagues.
Oh,
the
yeah.
maintenance,
Oh, yeah.
manicuring of the fields. Most big league fields are going to be faster than minor league fields.
Oh, big
now,
time.
There are some that are faster and slower inside Major League Baseball itself. Wrigley's always known as kind of a slower field. That grass is kind of stickier and the ball does not travel as much. So maybe you have to play in a little bit more, but I think Petco is, a typically fast track. For infielders.
Paulie and I got to play a game there.
It was awesome.
You think that it's grass. It's not. It's not grass. It's just not.
It is real grass. It's not fake
It's real grass, but it's not like the grass in your front yard. Like if you
it's more like a golf course.
If you mowed your grass down,
Even different from a golf course.
it's different than a golf course. It's like it's
like
spongy
bouncy
a little bit.
spongy.
Yeah, it's really really cool and different. So yeah, McCoy first time out, they look. Is it fast? Is it fast? And he's like, okay. So yeah, we'll talk about a couple of the cool moments that happened yesterday. I think that was one of them. Anytime a guy comes in and gets his first big league knock, that's always a cool moment. But yeah, in a game like that, look, clunkers happen. We were due for a clunker. Clunker came, and how do you rebound? How do you reset? And does your offense, show up and get nasty a little bit earlier? Which is, in my opinion, what they really need to do, man. They kind of what the Diamondbacks do. They really go after their opponents. They don't miss a lot of chances, Benny, to score runs. They just don't. So that's kind of why they scare me.
The Padres.
They're also playing the Marlins.
The Padres do that as well. And I had Matt Walter not given up 7 runs.
10.
Had he only given up in that one inning, but 10 total.
Oh, don't do that.
I think the Padres would have made a game of that. I mean, their offense always comes back and challenges.
100%. They even scratched a few runs out
if it was a
late,
5-1 game or 5-0 game, Padres are still in that. They can come back from deficits like that. No one's coming back from down 8-0, though. I mean, that's a once in a every 5 seasons sort of thing that you come back from 8-0.
I think the friggin' Reds did it yesterday. They were down. I think they scored 9. They were down 6-0. And they scored 9 unanswered.
But it
it
happens very rarely in baseball when a team gets down by that many and can come back. You just need a lot of luck and things that go your way that you can't even control at that point to come back from that big of a deficit. So that game was a lost cause. I actually think Mike Schilt managed it correctly as a lost cause in that game yesterday.
I saw people that were furious that he left Waldron out there, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I got texts. We can talk about this coming up.
Yeah,
I got texts.
That's a good topic.
What the heck is Mike Schilt doing? And I sent a reply, and the guy that texted me, who I work with,
say his
said,
name.
Steve.
Oh.
The guy I work with named Steve.
It was not me.
It was not you. Said, okay. Now that you explain it,
yeah,
I kind of understand what he was doing. But he was like mad, like what?
Oh, I saw it too.
What is Mike Schilt doing
and I'm looking
here?
at it. I'm looking at it. I go, don't engage. So I didn't engage. I have a radio show we can engage.
Fairly obvious.
I thought it was a no-brainer what was
get
happening.
them all out of here.
100%.
If you're one of those going, what was going on with the decision making, we can talk about that. Coming up in our next segment, 9 o'clock hour, Ryle report. I know at some point we'll get into Joey Votto's retirement announcement yesterday.
My
and
sweet
then
angel.
We've got a series against the Mets to look ahead to, and then a roundtable at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11, as we all get together to discuss the team. I've got some topics for everybody. We'll have some pizza for everybody.
Not for everyone.
Well, everybody that's here in this building.
Right. Well, what does that do for our audience? We'll be eating pizza.
Makes you want pizza.
Makes you want pizza.
Which then makes you order pizza
from Roundtable
later in the day, which is ultimately their point of sponsoring the Roundtable.
100%.
You to order a pizza later today. So I'll whet your appetite for all of it.
Roundtable?
Simply the best.
It simply is. We'll come back, our Padres wrap up, and get into yesterday's 11-4 loss to the Minnesota Twins. Next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. among us. Yeah, take your victory lap. Maybe Sammy Levitt should have stuck around on the radio booth another day.
Yeah, he's 2-0.
He's got his 2-0 record. I think he's happy holding on to that for the time being. We had Jesse back, which was great. Unfortunately, he didn't have a lot of highlights to call in yesterday's game. We will go through them. Got our Padres wrap-up coming up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a few things to mention here. Crash on the transition ramp, westbound 54th and northbound 805 connector. Traveling on northbound 805 just past H Street. We have reports of a stalled motorcycle in the center divide. And northbound side of the 5 right around SeaWorld Drive. Stalled vehicle in a lane next to the slow lane. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres wrap-up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
Another 2-2. Lewis swings, sends it in the air to center field. Not very deep. Merrill, though, over to his left. He's going to make the catch. Castro tagging at third, heading home. The throw will go to third. Not in time to get Larnick. Sacrifice fly, Royce Lewis. And a 1-0 Minnesota lead in the third. The one pitch lined in the air down the left field side. Oh, that's a fair ball. Going to bounce and roll into the corner. Julian on his way home. He'll score. They're waving Vasquez. He's on his way. Wade's relay to the plate is not in time. 2-run double for Austin Martin. And the Twins now lead at 3-0. Rich hitter batting left-handed. Swings to the first pitch. Sends it in the air. Peralta backing up. Going to play it off the wall. Trying to deke the runner Martin, but he's going to try and score anyway. The throw will come into second base. An RBI double for Castro, and now 4-0 Twins. 2-1. Wallner hits it in the air to deep right field. That one way back. Gonna go. Long 3-run homer for Matt Wallner, and it has gotten away from Matt Waldron here in the fourth inning. 8-0 Minnesota. Solano puts a charge into this one deep to left center field. Larnick back. Gonna watch. Gonna go. Pinch hit home run. Donovan Solano. Now 7 for 13 as a pinch hitter this year, and the Padres are on the board. Pitch on the way to Bryce Johnson, who has turned around to bat left-handed, and he muscles it on a line into center field, base hit. RBI single Bryce Johnson as Cronenworth trots home, and the Padres now down 10-2 here in the bottom of the eighth. Merrill sends one high and deep down the right field line. Will it stay fair? Yes, it will. A shot down the line and a 2-run home run. Number 18 for Merrill. A 2-run shot in the eighth, and now 10-4. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, muscled in the air over Camposano and into right field, a base hit. Julian rounding third, he'll come in to score. And an RBI single for Manuel Margot. 11-4 Minnesota in the ninth. 0-2. And a rise in the air to right field straight away. Wallner in a couple of steps now to his right. He makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Tough day for Matt Waldron. Twins avoid the sweep here at Petco, and they beat the Padres 11-4 this afternoon.
I just love the competition all the way to the end. I mean, clearly it didn't come out on our side. Talk about guys fighting, scratching, and clawing. I loved, didn't love the result for him, a rise. I loved his last at bat. Last at bat of the game, and this guy is competing his tail off. And Jackson normalizes competing regardless of circumstance, puts a good swing. This is what winners do, man. They compete regardless of circumstances, and guys did it today. The effort level and the fight was there.
Woods.
Hi. Good morning.
Well, it's Mike Schultz for you. You're not, at this point, if you expected anything else, you would just haven't been paying attention the rest of the season. Yeah. It's on you at this point. Yeah. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. So, yeah, Matt Waldron, I was locked in. First couple of innings. Can he get over those struggles in the first couple of innings? And he did. He was using the knuckleball less, and I thought, okay, he's got a strategy here. He's going to save the knuckleball, see if he can get through the first couple of innings without it, and then if he does, boy, he is set up for a good start here. Now he unleashes the knuckleball. It's going to be fluttering all over the place, and I was thinking, all right, this is going to be a good Matt Waldron start, but he never really was able to employ the knuckleball the way he has in so many of his other starts. It was his lowest usage, if not all season, certainly in a long time, it was like 22%. He had been up to like 40% knuckleball usage or higher in some of his starts when he was on his good run. And ultimately, the Twins just eventually locked in. And in that fourth inning, 7 straight hits. And at that point, it was 8-0, and the game was essentially over. Boom. 5 straight struggling starts for Matt Waldron, who now has an ERA over 10 in the month of August. And the Padres clearly have some discussions to take place about his spot in the starting rotation and what they're going to do even as soon as Monday, when his next scheduled start would be against the St. Louis Cardinals in the opener to that road trip.
Yeah, honestly, man, and you pulled some numbers this morning about what some of the potential replacements would be, and I think again, Randy Vasquez has given us a little bit at the big league level this year. Yes, he has shown some really, really good fight and
had a 3.6 ERA over his final 8 starts with the Padres before being sent down on August 9th.
It's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good for where he slots in the rotation and all that. I mean, that's essentially the fifth starter role now, right? Because Cease is today, Cease, King, Musgrove, right? I mean,
problem is you kind of had 2 fifth starters now.
You kind of do.
Martin Perez has done well, but gave some ground in his last start. And now Matt Waldron's kind of what you thought at the beginning of the year that he was going to be the 5th starter. That's where he started the year. Pitched so well that he became maybe your most consistent and reliable starter for a 2-month period.
No doubt.
But now it's back to a very big, what are we going to get when Matt Waldron's on the mound?
Like I said yesterday, it's not a comfortable watch. It's just not. You feel like you're waiting for the dam to break a lot with Matt Waldron. That strategy, Ben, I think, I don't know if it's a good strategy for a knuckleballer or a bad one. I know it's a good strategy for other guys with maybe 4 or 5 pitches in the arsenal to not, hey, I'm just not going to throw my curveball or my slider, and I'm going to get these guys settled in and thinking I'm in a routine. Then I'll bust out that hook. Now the whole game's changed, right? But it just, with a knuckleball, I feel like, from what I've heard, don't you have to keep throwing it and keep throwing it and keep throwing it? It's unpredictable, but you have to keep throwing it. So don't know that was the right strategy yesterday. Certainly didn't work in his favor. They got some good swings off of him. Had a huge inning. But he is, let's see, before the break, he was 5-8 with a 3.71 in his first 19 starts. That's absolutely serviceable. That ERA is absolutely fine. And he is, he's 3-6 with a 5.59 at home. It's kind of a pitcher-friendly park for him. He's just his last how many starts in a row has it been? 5 starts have been terrible, and I don't know that you can run him out there.
He pitched fine against Colorado, so it's been 3 bad starts. On August 4th, he went 5 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 7 against Colorado.
That's good. In Colorado,
the one before that wasn't good.
But then
the
one before that,
4 out of the last 5.
4 out of 5.
The one before that, and then the one before that. And the one before, really, since the start of July,
6 out of 7.
He's had one good start since the start of July.
So let's quickly address Mike Schilt's strategy and how he played that game, because I continue to see it. And I got the question, why did he not have a quicker hook? It's a pennant race. Why are you leaving him out there? And then especially after it's 8-0, why are you letting him go and give up 10 and stick it out? So I think it's a fairly reasonable, way to conclude here. At the point where they went into the 4th inning, it was a 1-0 game, and Waldron was getting by just fine. He got the first out in the 4th inning. So you don't have anybody up in the bullpen at that point, correct? Your starter is 3 1/3, 1 run, looking decent. You're not expecting to make a pitching change at that point. All right, so then he starts giving up hits. And in a span of, in real time, about 6 minutes, he went from 1-0 to 8-0. Now, at some point, you can say, we better get someone up in the bullpen, but they're going to take 2 or 3 batters to get ready. So even after, I mean, if you thought that, no one's going to give up one hit. All right, he gave up one hit. You're going to get someone up in the bullpen. So maybe after the third batter, you think about it.
It was
by the time anyone would have been ready.
Wesley says it's like 4 hits on 5 pitches.
Yeah,
I mean,
by the time anybody would have been ready, the damage was all done.
Well,
and then once it's 8-0, and his pitch count is still in the 60s or so, it's like, now what do we do? Are we going to? We got 18 games in 18 days. Are we going to ask our bullpen now for 6+ innings in a game that we really have very little chance of coming back to win, or are we just going to say, now, Matt, we got to get you into at least the 90s, so go and give us what you can, even if it's giving up some more runs. You gotta wear it now going forward.
Yeah, it's as simple as that, I think. 18 games in 18 days. You
That's
have a
it.
4-game series, a big series against the Mets. You can't kill your bullpen.
And the most important thing, is, and they will never admit it, you won the series. You won the series. So there is something, and I don't know if it's even conscious. It may be subconscious, Ben, where you're like, this game matters, of course. We're in a pennant race, but we're also in really good shape. So I'm not going to go high leverage guys. I'm not going to burn hoeing here, after it's already 7-0. Like, there's no way.
He had also pitched the day before.
Right. I'm going with my lower leverage guys. I'm gonna punt, for lack of a better word.
Even after letting Waldron pitch into the 5th or however long he went, you still ended up having to throw Jeremiah Estrada in the last inning. I mean, he's a pretty high leverage guy pitching in a game that you're down 6 runs at that point.
I'll say this: I think they pulled Waldron too early.
He was at 92. I thought they could have actually gotten a little bit more out of him. Some of the quotes after the game, clearly Waldron, in his rookie season, the arm is getting a little tired. There's got a bulky elbow thing going. It's going to be difficult to send him out, at least again for his next start. The problem, as you just mentioned, who would the replacement be? Randy Vasquez, who did okay, has struggled badly at AAA. Now, a lot of guys do in that Pacific Coast League. It's a hitter's paradise, but he's had an 8+ ERA in his starts since they sent him down. You had Johnny Brito, who's been trying to stretch out, hasn't been completely healthy, came up and had a little bullpen stint for the Padres. He would be an option. You could try with a bullpen day, but again, 16 games in 16 days, that's a lot to ask out of your bullpen, that they have to cover an entire game in that stretch if you wanted to go with like Hoeing and Reynolds as your guys. And then there's one other name that's been popping up, left-hander named Omar Cruz, who's been pitching fairly well for El Paso. It's got good stuff, but completely untested on the big league level, and you'd be throwing him into a really big situation here down the stretch in important games, really not knowing any idea of what you get out of him against major league hitting. So there's no easy answer as to what to do with Matt Waldron's next start or next couple of starts going forward.
I don't think they're easy answers, but I think they're answers that you can give that will cover your own ass, and I think it's Randy Vasquez for sure. I think if and does that mean then, Ben, you send Waldron down? If his arm's tired, then yeah, I mean he's got options, right?
Yeah,
you can send him down.
Yeah, I don't think he's a long man in the bullpen at this point.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
I don't
you
think
send
so
him
either.
down, let him skip a start or two, or even put him on the injured list for 15 days, and you could. Now Vasquez is on track. He pitched yesterday, so it'd be normal rest if he went on Monday. That's works in his favor if you do make that decision.
It's a decent move. I mean, it's not the end all be all, but it's a decent move and it's a safe move, and he's got experience at big league level and he's had success at the big league level. I don't think there's much to wring your hands over at all. You're going to need. You're searching. I saw Brandon Hyde yesterday, manager of the Orioles, was asked a question by the media because he's had the back end of his bullpen is. It's Kimbrel blowing saves. I mean, it's not great. And they just asked him, like, hey, what are you trying to do? And he said, I am searching for outs. That's what I'm doing. I am searching for outs, which doesn't make him. That's what every manager right now, especially these managers that are in pennant races, that's what they're doing. Mike Schilt was searching for outs yesterday. I really thought Jake Cronenworth would hit the bump yesterday. Of course, we scored, I think, too many runs for him to pitch to the ninth, but in the time leading up to that, I thought, what a great time to use him.
I was thinking about it in, like, I don't know, the
fourth.
inning.
Yeah. I'm like, Crony's better get that whip loose. But they scored too many runs for him to pitch the ninth. So, you're searching for outs. You're trying to cover innings. makes sense to me.
Now, I'm going to say something that's probably going to make some people mad as well. I'm also not going to be stunned if Matt Waldron pitches again on Monday
I won't
because
be either.
this is Mike Schultz. He has a lot of faith in his guys. If you listen to him talk about Matt Waldron, it was mostly about how important he's been to the team and how many good starts he's had.
Yep.
And they also have a really good pitching coach who is going to, review the tape and going to go with Matt for his bullpen and try to figure something out. And they may feel decent with Matt Waldron going forward. If they do, something feels different, they may think that's still their best option on Monday. And you're not going to feel good about it if he's pitching on Monday in St. Louis as a fan. But I promise you that Schilt and Preller and Niebla are going to go through all their options, and they're going to decide on what they think is best for them, holistically going forward as a team.
It's going to be holistic. It's going to be holistic. And I have no problem, really, with them doing that, bringing up Randy Vasquez. Again, he's had more success at the big league level than he has in the minors this season. So, he's battled for us, certainly. Oh, I just pulled Jace Tingler out. He has battled for the San Diego Padres. And, I have no problem with him going against the Cards on Monday. None.
Wouldn't be surprised if that's the decision.
I wouldn't be either.
That they make. Just quickly, if we're talking about pitching, nice job by Sean Reynolds.
100%.
They battled.
Eating a couple of innings. Thank you, Jace, of at least, not that they needed it to stay in the game, but they needed it just to save everybody else. And, you didn't use any of your last, setup guys or anything. Should feel
you're good
the
going into
bullpen
the
should feel
series.
pretty good going into this series against the New York Mets, which we already said, very important series, and you didn't put yourself in a bad situation going forward. Some ways, an 11-4 loss is way better than a 6-5, 11-inning loss in which you tried to win and tried to throw everybody out there and ended up still losing the game anyway. At least this one, you can save everybody for the Mets series and go forward. So,
well, the other thing I was happy about, again, for Mason McCoy, getting his very first knock at the big league level. Cool experience for him. I was excited when Jackson Merrill patted his Rookie of the Year
meaningless
stats.
home run, but
100%.
not in the Rookie of the Year race.
Nope.
Those home runs all count and go onto his stat sheet at the end of the year. So
100%.
that's good as well. This hour on 97.3 The Fan brought to you by Macy's. It's Macy's ultimate shopping event with an extra 25% off designers that rarely go on sale, 15% off beauty too, savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply today at Macy's, the ultimate shopping event. All right, we'll come back. We got a little real or fake on a Throwback Thursday, chance to win a trip to Las Vegas, and more next here on 97.3 The Fan. We didn't bring it up, but probably of almost equal concern to the fifth spot in the rotation, and Matt Waldron is the shortstop position over the next week while Ha-Sung Kim is on the injured list. And the fact that Tyler Wade...
Morales with a home run. Vladimir Guerrero had key hits along along the way. And the Angels batting order.
I sent that message to Paulie, and he downloaded
Angels
it.
batting order just, excuse me.
Take a breather. Get a drink of water.
Or out
just
the,
started.
Get a lot of
Red Sox pitching
Usually
staff.
wait until later in the segment for that. Tyler Wade, since Ha-Sung Kim got hurt and they inserted him at shortstop, he's 0 for 11. Not that couldn't change today, but it seems pretty clear based on Mike Schiltz managing that Tyler Wade will continue to start at short unless there's a left-hander on the mound, and then it'll probably be Mason McCoy.
I think
they don't want to move anybody over to shortstop, at least short-term with Ha-Sung Kim, which means...
They might want to move someone over to short, but the main guy has said, I've already moved. I've moved already. Like... respect it. I've already moved and I'm comfortable now.
Fine. Then what about, Jake and get Donovan Solano into the lineup somehow? He continues to, when he gets an opportunity to produce, I mean, you've got a good bench. He's the best part of your good bench, but you're not using the best part. You're using the worst end of your bench to fill in for one of your main starters here for 10 days. Tyler Wade, and again, not trying to, denigrate Tyler Wade, but he's not really putting up great at-bats right now. He's 0 for 11 since they've asked him to go in there.
Not great
And Mason
defensively.
McCoy, while he's a good defensive replacement from all we've heard, not going to bring much offensively to the table. So you are basically punting on one spot in your batting order for 10 days while Ha-Sung Kim is on the injured list. And that's something that I'm a little more concerned about.
They talk a lot in the big leagues these days about the lane. We got to find a lane for this guy. They have found a lane for Donovan Solano, and it's working. The pinch hitting numbers are astounding. They're astounding. And do you then run him out for the next 10 days, right? Is he a 10-day in a row player? I don't know. I think, again, they found a lane they're comfortable with. Using guys, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in the roundtable today, but using guys in the right spot is just as important. It's just as important as using your quote-unquote best players, right? Like, they have to be in the situation that works for them. And if they found what's working, because, again, the numbers, the record, Ben, says unquestionably what they're doing is working, right? You can't deny that. We're not in a free fall. We're not, the offense isn't struggling. It's working. One of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team since the break.
But it's not working because of Tyler Wade. It's working in spite of
it
Tyler
is.
Wade.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, it's still working, though. You don't care how you get the result.
I'm sorry. They're showing that's
Why are they doing
guys
this?
on MLB Network right now. MLB Network is showing that's what's in guys from 2 years ago.
We are never beating these charges. We're never beating those charges. It's right behind me.
They had a graphic with like 100 tweets posted up there, and it was like, please don't talk about those guys. I think there were a bunch of Padres. Please do not bring those guys up. And then they showed the whole damn
everyone laughing,
video.
having a good time.
Lauren Shehadi, Mark DeRosa just laughing it up.
Janine says they have to get Solano in. I tend to agree with you. I would probably do it. I probably would.
If I was a manager and I had Donovan Solano, who's put nothing but consistent, good at-bats together, basically since the moment you got him.
But he's done that because of how you've used him,
I'm not saying that he's the starter every day for the rest of the season. I'm saying for 1 week.
For 1 week.
While Ha-Sung Kim is out, find a way to get him into the lineup. Not Tyler Wade and Mason McCoy every single day. And I know that doesn't mean playing Solano at short, but there's got to be someone like Jake you can move over and let Solano DH and get him into the lineup.
Put Arise at first.
But even if it's against
Solano can play first, right?
Solano could play first. Solano can play second. Bogarts could DH, and Solano can play second.
But here's the thing.
And I get it. It'll be against some righties, but he's hitting okay against righties, too.
Remember this, though. If you have Donovan Solano and Luis Arise at first and second, you are giving the other team the whole right side of the field. That's theirs. Solano doesn't have range.
I wouldn't put them both together on the same day.
That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't put them both together.
Do we all know how much Mike Shildt prioritizes defense? Do we all appreciate that? I do. It matters, man. Run prevention is really, really important. And Jake is a better first baseman than anybody we have, by far, really. So if you're having a right side of Arise and Solano, it's just to move Crony over to short, where I think he would be okay. I really do. He is athletic and can play the position. To sacrifice the whole right side of your infield is tough. It's tough. It's tough. I like preventing runs. I do. And Jake helps you there better than anybody in either position that we have. So I don't know what the answer is, man. I think that's probably what the conundrum is. I bet you it's a defensive conundrum for Mike Shildt and AJ Preller. I'll ask him that tomorrow.
You're already playing Arise at first some of the time anyway, because he doesn't want to be a full-time.
Spilled water all over myself.
He doesn't want to be a full-time DH. So Arise, Bogarts, Cronenworth, Machado as your infield, with Solano as your DH, and Wade coming off the bench. And late in the game, obviously you get a lead, you get some early runs. Yeah. Yank someone and put Tyler Wade or Mason McCoy in there for defensive purposes. But you got to score some runs.
You do. I get it. I totally understand. But I'm just trying. I'm not even really trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm just trying to explain what probably their logic is. Is we are going to really weaken the right side of the field if we have Donovan Solano and Luis Arise playing there. And again, Crony, I would say, is it fair to say Crony's an unknown at short? I mean, he's played there before, True. Yes, but it's been a while. So now you've weakened 3 positions essentially, and you got Manny at third. That's great, but you've basically weakened your entire infield. So I'm okay. Where did he come from? He came from the Cardinals. Are we all surprised that he values defense and that he probably will put Mason McCoy in? Because again, in the PCL, they did some poll. I saw this yesterday. They did some poll. He was voted the best defensive shortstop in the PCL. I'm sure when Mike Shildt saw that, call him up. Get him up here. So, yeah, I understand offense, but I also understand defense, and I think it's important.
If you want to play a little real or fake on a Throwback Thursday, you can call in now, 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We've got our game coming up in a couple of minutes. Now, the one thing I do fully believe is this conversation that we just had about Donovan Solano, who should play short, has been had and is continuing to be had behind the scenes at Petco Park. Probably with a lot of passion as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are good arguments on both sides. There is an argument, as you said, don't give up defense as well. We know we're going to be weaker offensively without Ha-Seong Kim. We know we're going to be weaker defensively without Ha-Seong Kim. Let's not compound the mistake by becoming weaker both places,
3 positions,
all across the field. I get that. No, that makes sense. But I think there's also a good argument, and I'm sure someone in that front office or in the coaching room is making, but Donovan Solano, he goes up there and he usually barrels the ball.
Yep.
His nickname is Donnie Barrels because he puts together good at-bats and gets a lot of hits, and he's been hitting for power a little bit as well. Had another home run yesterday. How do we not have him in the lineup when we are so weak offensively at one position, and we got this guy sitting waiting for a pinch hit spot that may never come in a game? Get him 3 or 4 at-bats and see what he can do for a week at least. So both of those arguments are valid. They're both being made around Petco Park. For now, the decision, though, seems to be Tyler Wade and Mason McCoy until Ha-Seong Kim is back.
Yep. Which in that case, you're really only prioritizing defense against a left-handed pitcher, right? Because Tyler Wade's not a good defensive shortstop, really, and Mason McCoy is. At least he was in the PCL. So
But you're not moving someone out of a position where they are good at.
Correct.
Which was your point.
Correct.
It's not necessarily is Wade even good at shortstop. It's more you're weakening yourself at 2 positions when you move someone else.
And honestly, let's call it what it is. You're weakening yourself potentially at 3 positions if you move Jake Cronenworth to short or Xander to short or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. But I think we can all agree Yeah, you got to find a way to get Donovan Solano in the lineup more. I'm not saying he should be the everyday starter, but you got to find a way to get him more consistent at bats. I think.
Janine says, and X needs to realize how dire the situation is and be willing to move. Mike Schultz addressed that again yesterday and said, it's very. He thinks it's harder to go from short to second than second to short. He explained how at short the game's all in front of you. A ball is hit to you. You're looking over at first. You're rarely looking over to third, but at second. You've got to play both ways. You've got left and right. You've got both the second base bag. You've got to cover on stolen bases, on double plays. You make the turn to the right. You make the turn to the left. It's a very different position. Xander has adjusted well. He's playing it well. To throw a monkey wrench in right now and put him back to short could actually do some damage. So they don't want to do that. They don't have a lot of options. This is what they've been left with.
And please don't. I just don't think we should be ripping Xander Bogaerts, who is a guy that moved positions already. He moved off that position, and now you want him back. And I don't think he's being petty. I don't think he's being obstinate. I think he's just saying.
I think he's trying to stay locked in.
I think I just leave me where I'm finally comfortable and playing well and contributing. Like, let's do that, because this is where you asked me to move here. I said I will do it. And now you want to move me back for 10 days? I totally understand his point of view. I do.
No one's saying move Jackson Merrill off center to go play short.
Right.
Because he's doing fine. He's comfortable there. Like, leave him. It ain't broke. Don't fix it.
100%.
But it is funny to me, again, said it yesterday, that a team full of shortstops, one shortstop goes down, and we're like, what the hell do we do?
What do we do at shortstop?
All right, we can take some calls on this a little bit later. Keep that in mind. Right now, though, it is time to play our game. It is Thursday. It's time for Real or Fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. Yeah, you can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
All right, Dwayne, good morning to you. How are you?
What's up, guys? Good morning.
What's up,
Good
buddy?
morning. All right, here's what you're playing for. If you can get 4 out of 7 right, you will qualify for our grand prize drawing. 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Carrie Underwood Reflection at Resorts World Theater. It's her residency, critically acclaimed. They've already extended it into the spring. It is underway now. Tickets at AXS.com and RWLasVegas.com. All right, here's your category, and Woodsy, happy to help you if he can. Travis Kelce says Adam Sandler is giving him a role in the upcoming Happy Gilmore sequel.
Okay.
Which got me thinking about golf movies. Today on Real or Fake, I will give you a movie title. You tell me if it is a real golf-themed movie released since the year 2000 or a fake I have made up to fool you.
All right.
More
this
golf
could be
movies than
tough.
I thought out there.
This could be tough.
Dwayne, are you ready to play?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
All right, round number 1. Real or fake? A gentleman's game. A gentleman's game. Real or fake golf movie?
I'm going to pull the Woodsy card. What do you think, Woods?
I've got no idea.
You watch a lot of movies. Not seen this one?
Never heard of it. The Gentleman's Game. Sounds like something Ben made up. I'm going to say fake.
Dwayne, what's your answer?
I'm thinking fake.
Fake. 2002, starring Gary Sinise, A Gentleman's Game. All right, 0 for 1. Let's go to round number 2. Back Nine Bandits. Real or fake? Back Nine Bandits.
That is an adult film, I'm pretty sure.
Real or
I don't know that qualifies.
Let's go fake.
That is fake. All right, 1-1.
Such a pervert, man. Such a
Round
pervert.
number 3. The Pro. The Pro. Real or fake?
Ooh, what do you think, Woods?
I think that's real.
I
think that's real.
What I'm thinking.
I think I've seen it. Not seen the
Let's
movie.
go real.
All right.
Real.
Come
He
on.
says real. Woods maybe ran into it on Netflix one
Sorry.
day. No, I
We
made
got
that one up.
it. We got it.
All right, here we go. We're at 1, round number 4. The Phantom of the Open.
Oh, my God.
The Phantom of the Open.
Wait.
It's got to be fake.
No, that's Mark Rylance, 2021. Fairly recent entry. All right, we're now in desperation
All right, desperation
time.
mode.
It is. You need to get all 3 right, or the game is over. All right, round number 5. Who's your caddy?
Oh, my God.
Who's your caddy?
It's got to be.
Real or fake?
Come on.
It's got to be fake, right, Woods?
It's got to be fake.
Fake.
Shut up! There's no way!
Big boy Lil Wayne in 2007. And who's your caddy?
Your caddy. I'm
and
so sorry.
unfortunately, that means, Dwayne, the game is over for you today.
Sorry, Dwayne. I owe you a beer, man.
Bummer. Let's try a couple more. T for two. T for two.
Fake.
That is fake. Swing Away.
Another adult film. Real.
Starring Shannon Elizabeth in 2016.
Shannon
Swing
Elizabeth.
Away.
Wait, who is that?
Never heard of it.
Who's Shannon Elizabeth?
She was in American Pie, right? She was the...
Is that her?
Isn't that her? I think so.
Give it a little... What's it called?
Swing Away. Starring Shannon Elizabeth, 2016.
Oh, she was
was,
the girl...
Nadia.
Nadia.
Yeah.
Yeah, in American
Pie. And she's in a golf movie.
I Am Lucky Girl?
This Swing Away?
Swing Away.
I'm gonna check that out. She's 50 now, by the way, just so you know. 50.
That doesn't
That's
change
crazy.
anything.
I'm getting no, not a bit.
Way
That
too
did not
age
change
appropriate
a
for
thing.
you,
I'm
Woods.
saying, yes, way too age appropriate. But it means I'm getting old.
All right. Well, sorry that we couldn't get Dwayne qualified for Las Vegas.
I can't believe those movies. How do those movies get made? Who's the guy that's sitting there and goes,
What's Gary Sinise doing?
yeah, well,
Now there's so many more straight to Netflix,
Sure.
straight to streaming movies.
It doesn't matter.
I think
It
there's
doesn't
more
matter,
that just
though.
get green lit.
It doesn't matter. Somebody has to say, here's $500,000 to make Swing Away with Shannon
Probably
Elizabeth.
more like 5 million.
Yeah, whatever it's done. Who's the guy that does that?
I will say the whole category was themed off of Adam Sandler. I think he was on Jimmy Fallon the other day. He was talking about Happy Gilmore 2. And I'm getting excited. He said he's got a lot of current golfers that are all in on cameos. And he said, look,
I don't need Travis Kelce in there, but whatever.
Whatever. He said, Adam Sandler was like, I have been asked about a sequel to this movie for like 20 years. We wanted to do it right. We feel very good about the script. So I'm at least curious.
Yeah, he always said, I don't want to do it because we're just going to disappoint you. But he and his friend, Tim Hurley, he said, we got a really good concept. We've been writing our butts off for months, and we think we got a good movie for you. So we'll see.
We will see.
All right, Don't Do This is coming up next. Little League coaches. Usually they do this because, well, they donate their time. Good thing that they're doing, but unfortunately one has stepped into the don't do this category.
Yeah, this one really rubbed me the wrong way. Kids get a lot of grief these days, a lot. And I think a lot of it should go to in this case, certainly should go to the coach.
That is coming up next with Ben Woods after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. All right, don't do this time. And I saw a lot of Padres fans taking note of this yesterday. Even I, who don't try to get into it too much, had to show it on Channel 10 last night, simply because everyone remembers earlier this season, Padres Nationals, and the whole brouhaha between the teams involving Jurickson and Profar. How did it start? Well, remember, the Nationals intentionally walked. Who did they intentionally walk to get to Jurickson and Profar? Was it Arise? I think they walked Arise to get to Profar, who then walked him off with that double. And Profar was very adamant and celebratory after the walk-off win, as most players are. They just won the game. He also added the fact that he felt, hey, going to disrespect me by intentionally walking the guy before me to get to me after the kind of season I've had. It was a little bit personal to Jurickson and Profar. Well, the Nationals weren't too happy about that, and
they took exception.
Jesse Winker was one of those guys.
Out of the dugout.
He jawed with a Padres fan, about it, and he was out of the dugout. Keibert Ruiz, obviously, the next day. The whole incident with Jurickson at home plate, who then got hit. Then Manny hit the home run. Then Jurickson hit the grand slam. So that was Jesse Winker. Well, at the trade deadline, Jesse Winker got dealt to the New York Mets. And yesterday, Jesse Winker hit his first home run with the New York Mets. It happened to be a walk-off winner to beat the Baltimore Orioles 4-3. Guess what Jesse Winker did? Put his head down, ran around the bases? No. He celebrated like an absolute lunatic. Absolute lunatic.
It was crazy.
He got halfway to first base and ripped his helmet off, slammed it to the ground. Then between first and second, he had a whole other celebration and another one between second and
could have bounced and hit
second and
somebody.
third. They got around third base. They pulled out like this OMG sign, and he stopped and basically the greeting line before he had even touched home plate.
It was unreal.
Hey,
by the way, big moment. Huge moment.
Yeah,
Celebrate, man.
I don't have a big problem with how much he celebrated. It's a huge win for the Mets.
He said he blacked out. Great. Yeah, it's a huge, huge moment. Probably just like Jurickson and Profar.
But, it's also a tough loss for the Orioles, who were there. I mean, hopefully they just walked into their clubhouse as they should and didn't care about what Jesse Winker was doing. I didn't hear any Baltimore Orioles saying anything about it. But it was just ironic that guy, Jesse Winker, is the one who is losing his absolute ever-loving mind after hitting a walk-off.
It was pretty funny.
That's why you don't say anything the first time.
That's
because
right.
You may be the guy hitting a walk-off
you.
later in the season.
It may be you. It was. I mean, literally, like such a huge moment for Jesse Winker. Good for you, man. Celebrate like crazy. You deserve to do that, certainly. But you also can't get mad when it's done to you or at you or whatever you may feel. Baseball is funny, man. I mean, I saw a tweet last night like, Orlando Arcia stared at Bryce Harper as he rounded the base. Like, baseball players.
It's like the playoffs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who was it last year?
Harper that stared at Arcia.
That's right.
Because Arcia said, hey, way to go, Harper. And it was this whole huge thing. I mean, you want to talk about sensitive and boy, that's what happens in games in August. Everyone, they're a little worn out, man. They're a little on edge. So, speaking of on edge, this Little League coach from Staten Island, Bob Laterza, he was very negative about a guy that I don't know that I've ever heard anyone be negative
Is this the team
about.
with all the Italian names that Paulie had last week?
I think so, yeah. It was the Staten Island team. And they were, of course, playing in the Little League World Series. It's Sunday night's Major League Baseball Little League Classic. Yeah.
So the
Yankees
and the Tigers were there in Williamsport.
That's
and they
right.
went to the field before the game with all the Little Leaguers and had some interactions. And then at the game, all the Little Leaguers came to the stadium and where they played the game and got to watch.
So after the game, he claimed, Bob Laterza, that Aaron Judge big-timed them. He big-leagued them. He says, quote, how about turning around and wave to New York and the kids that think you're a hero? This is the one that got me. They are the ones that pay your salary. Anytime you invoke the words, I pay your salary, you're not a good dude. Whether it's at a restaurant, whether it's at an airline, whether it's for anything. I pay your salary.
Police,
doctors,
nurses.
100%. 100%.
Baseball players.
They were disappointed. Maybe he'll want to make up for it and come see them. So the Yankees fired back, and they said, quote, our entire roster spent the day in Williamsport connecting with as many little leaguers as they possibly could prior to our game, including the team from Staten Island. We commend all our players for devoting their complete attention to the hundreds of kids who literally walked step by step alongside them from the moment the Yankees landed and through the entirety of the evening. Our players were unequivocally committed to making the experience what it was intended to be, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They said neither the Yankees nor our players organized the schedule on Sunday. In fact, because Staten Island played on Sunday, our players went out of their way to spend time with them in the moments immediately before our game with the Tigers. Win or lose, we intend to invite them to Yankee Stadium. However, it would have been much better if Staten Island's coach called us to understand the facts before bitterly reacting in such a public fashion.
Damn.
Reaching out to us would have been the prudent way to act, would have set a fine example for his young players. Aaron Judge always acts with kindness and respect. And Eric Bolin, who covers the Yankees, says, I've been covering this team for 16 years. He said, I have never seen anyone as good with kids as Aaron Judge. Like, that of all guys.
I saw plenty of pictures and videos of him with little leaguers on the weekend.
100%.
Like, maybe he didn't say hi to your kid.
He owes you, Bob, and he owes you guys nothing.
Just be happy to be there, that they were there.
He owes you nothing. Nothing. And, you know,
So
like I say all the time, I mean, I'm a little league coach. It's on me. I'm the coach. It's not on the kids. The kids are kids. They're kids. Everyone wants to point the finger, and I hear it. I hear it at the fields. Oh, entitled this, entitled that. Man, it's on us as coaches. It's really on us to set the example. And for him to go public with something like that because he didn't get the flowers he intended, he thought he was going to get, and going after a guy like that, that's unconscionable.
Well, also, what does this guy expect? I assume Aaron Judge was in the on-deck circle, and he thinks that he should have figured out where the kids from New York were.
Turn around.
Well, he's playing the game. This is a real game that counts in the standings. And he's supposed to look around and find where specifically the kids from New York. I got to make sure I wave at them.
It was like pregame stuff. I think he was more upset about because all the Yankees were hanging out with the little leaguers, and I guess
trust me, Aaron Judge doesn't know which little leaguers he's saying hi to and high-fiving and waving at. But they all looked the same to a big leaguer.
I can promise you, though, he wouldn't. Think about, play the tape forward.
He didn't specifically
he wouldn't intentionally snub
the Staten Island
those guys are from
kids.
Staten Island. I'm going to go out of my way.
Of course not.
It's just...
But there's no chance he could have individually greeted every little leaguer there. Well, there's just no possible way. So maybe he missed a few, and they happen to be from Staten Island. But that doesn't matter.
And again, if a kid comes to you and says, Daddy, I just tried to get so-and-so's autograph, and he was mean, I would say, hey, man, life sucks sometimes. That's a tough scene. And I would think about that, certainly. But it's also not my job to be like, you owe him. You owe him. He pays your salary. Bro, come on with that.
That 11-year-old pays your salary.
Come on, Bob. Come on. And you know what it did, though, to me? I read that story, and I went, put that in the memory bank, buddy. Put that in there. I'm going to be coaching for many, many years to come.
Bro,
it's a good reminder.
Little league sports parents can be the worst part of the game.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And so for me, I just said, all right, file that one away and keep that one close.
All right, finally, time for Do This.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
I'll throw it out there. This is for our friend Emily Nyman, who is a huge Lego fanatic. I don't know if you ever see her tweets. We've had her on before, but apparently so is Jeremiah Estrada. And our Annie Halbrin chronicled a really cool story that happened recently. Jeremiah Estrada was at a model store that had a lot of cool, of the toys from Japan and Korea, and happened to be in there and met a kid who was answering his questions about these special kits he was looking for. Was a big Padres fan, didn't realize he was talking to Jeremiah Estrada. Jeremiah bought him 3 kits, and Annie says, and then at the end, Jeremiah asked Luke if he likes the Padres. He said yes. Jeremiah told him, stop by the bullpen sometime, say hello. And then that's when Luke realized, I'm talking to Jeremiah Estrada of the San Diego Padres. I love players making human connections with fans. I mean, we're just talking about Aaron Judge. This, though, is really cool, kind of went above and beyond just when he met one of these Padres fans. And it was a nice, sweet story that was relayed yesterday by our own Annie Halbert.
You know who's not allowed at my house? Jeremiah Estrada and his Lego collection.
I know.
You're not allowed at my house. I'm sorry. I love you. You're a great kid, great pitcher. You're not welcome in the Woods household, and neither are Legos.
You don't want to step on them.
So you know.
They don't get put away.
They don't get put away ever. Ever. Never once. And they're
Now,
everywhere.
if you could just buy the Legos already all put together and then just enjoy the final
Who would
product.
do that? It's like buying a model airplane that's already put together.
Buying a jigsaw puzzle.
That's already done?
It's done. It's glued together and everything.
I'm in.
Put it on your wall. Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
Great.
Yeah, bought that.
And that's
Just
don't
like that.
and do this for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Carlos said, good thing he bought him Legos. He pays his salary after all. I pay your salary. Are you kidding me?
Well, maybe your parents, if they are like season ticket holders, pay a tiny, tiny fraction of your salary.
Even then, it falls in line with. Do you know who I am? That it's right there next
how much
to.
does
Do you
Judge
know
make
who
a
I am?
year?
Like 40.
I mean,
Staten Island's-
conservatively, what are season tickets for the Yankees? If you had full seasons, $10,000.
No idea.
Like,
no, way more.
Way more, but
yeah.
still, you're still
20,000, like,
talking about
a
Talking about kids here.
0.001% of your salary.
It's just insane. It's just insane behavior from a grown man, dude.
All right, Padres fans, we got some open phone lines. If you want to talk about Matt Waldron's spot on the rotation, the shortstop position, any of it, you can call us right now, 833-288-0973. We don't do this every day, but we got some time here in our next segment if you want to join us. Talk some Padres baseball. That is coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away. All right, we got some Padres fans on the line. Want to talk a little baseball with us. 833-288-0973. First, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by California Coast Credit Union. Get 9.5% APY rate on a 5-month certificate for a limited time at Cal Coast Credit Union as they celebrate 95 years in the community. $500 minimum balance. Restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA. Visit calcocu.org/celebrate. We'll check traffic, and then we'll hit the phone lines to talk about Matt Waldron and Ha-Sung Kim's spot in the lineup and more next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, for the most part, folks are doing a pretty good job of staying out of trouble on our roads. We're just seeing a lot of the usual slowing in the usual spots, but at least no incidents or accidents getting in your way. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Some good chat on Twitter, too. The argument about why you don't move Xander Bogaerts over to shortstop, why moving Jay Cronenworth might not be a great idea as well. And you just kind of have to wear it maybe for the next week with Tyler Wade and Mason McCoy and hope you get by. I guess I just never realized. We all knew what Ha-Sung Kim is and what he brings to the table. But I never realized how absolutely irreplaceable maybe he was on the San Diego Padres.
And I think maybe we should have. Janine made a really good point in the chat earlier about why did they move Xander in the first place knowing that Kimmy is a free agent after the season? You know what I mean? Like, why make that switch then? I know they value his glove. His glove's been okay this year. There's been some pretty glaring errors, but again, you see a ball up the middle that Tyler Wade, needs to leave his feet for and can't make the throw, and you see Ha-Sung Kim probably make a lot of those plays. So I don't know. He was clearly the better defensive shortstop, but if he's going to be leaving in a year, why cause all of this hubbub?
Is he, though? I've been assuming that this is the last season for Ha-Sung Kim, given all the shortstops and the financial, perhaps, considerations. However, if you don't bring Ha-Sung Kim back, what's the big storyline at spring training next year? I know you don't want to think about that, but is it Tatis moving back to short? Is it Xander moving back to short?
Merrill?
Is it Jackson Merrill moving back to short? Going to be a very big storyline if they do not bring back Ha-Sung Kim. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Let's go to we got actually 2 mics on the line. So, Mike, number 1, welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Am my mic number 1?
You are. They actually both say Mike in Chula Vista.
Right, thank you guys. First time caller. Thanks for I listen to you guys from time to time, but on my way to work, so I figured I'd call. I went to the game yesterday. I told my son, I said, we're watching the game, avid fans, Tuesday night. I said, listen, if we win tonight, we come back and win, then I'm going to take you to the game on Wednesday. And so Profar hit the home run, and we just went nuts, having a great time. I grew up on the East Coast, so the way that I view baseball is I do take it personal. I think every game from here on out is a playoff game for us, especially since Arizona seems to have gotten hot. The Dodgers just will not lose now, it seems. So every game to me really is a playoff game. So I look at the schedule. We always look at the schedule. We go to games. Whenever I do go to games, I get really good tickets. I want to sit close, and we did. I don't want to seem like it was, a waste of time because we had a great time. But then when I seen the schedule and I saw Waldron, I cringed.
Yeah.
I think he's done. I think he's worn out. I don't know if it's lack of effort.
No, I don't see that.
I don't know. I think Vasquez. I'd rather someone like Vasquez in there. I just think I don't know. He looks like he's worn out. One other thing I'd like to say, guys, is guys like Wade and Peralta and Camposano, these guys need to step up. I mean, Wade, the throw he made, the relay he made yesterday, I watch it intensely. It was horrible. I mean, that guy, he looks like he's a AAA guy. And Kem being out is a big loss. Guys, thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike, number 1.
And I think the play he's talking about is the relay home. I mean, where he just spiked it. It's honestly a play that you probably could have had an out there, but yeah, he spiked it. So yeah, I look, as far as Peralta stepping up, he has. I think he has stepped up a lot lately. Tyler Wade is who Tyler Wade is. He's not an everyday player. He's a pinch hitter. He's a pinch runner, and he's been thrust into this role. you got to show you can get the job done.
One thing Mike said that I understand the sentiment, but I actually disagree with is he said it really feels like every game's a playoff game from here on out.
I like that mentality, but
they're all important. But when you're saying that, essentially you're meaning, okay, we got to win every series. If it's a playoff game, then you got to win every series because otherwise you're eliminated if it's the playoffs. But you're not. If the Padres won every series here on out, they would end up with about 97 wins. They don't need that many to get to the playoffs. They essentially need to play 500 baseball to get to 89 wins, which would likely make the playoffs, or a couple games above 500. That's not playoff baseball. They need to be a 500 team the rest of the way out just to make the playoffs. Now, would I like to see them play better than that? Of course. Do I expect them to play better than that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can't necessarily manage. If you're Mike Schilt,
you cannot.
You can't manage like it's a playoff game.
No.
You can't get down 8-0 and go, we got to pull out all the stops to win this game because this is a playoff game, because it's not.
It's not.
You don't have to win every game the rest of the way.
And you've won that series.
And you have to keep that in perspective the rest of the year.
Hard to do.
You're trying to win as many of the 162 as possible, and occasionally in a baseball season, that requires you essentially not doing everything you can to win some of the 162 to give you a better chance to win more of the 162 at the end. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it really is true in baseball.
You have to. You have to manage. You have to manage for tomorrow sometimes, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. So,
especially on a run like the Padres are on right now.
No question.
18 and 18.
18 and 18, of course, and then with a big series against the Mets coming in. I'm glad we didn't burn anybody yesterday.
I am too.
But the guys that we used.
Let's go from Mike in Chula Vista to Mike in Chula Vista. It's Mike
guy.
in Chula Vista morning.
Same guy.
Hey, other
hey,
Mike,
buddy.
number 2.
How are you?
Hey, shout out to Mason McCoy, and I believe it was his first major league hit.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. Congrats. So I got cousins that are Dodger fans, and they're just riding me yesterday.
Oh yeah,
giving me a hard time, telling me, "Oh, this is your guys' downfall, this and that," and I don't believe that because it wasn't a must-win yesterday.
No.
It wasn't you got to win today. There's still quite a few games left, and like you guys said, we if you go a few games above 500 and we get in, we're good. You know what I mean? The division title would be great, but I don't know if that's the goal right now.
You tell your cousins. You tell your cousins. You guys spent $1 billion, and you're sitting here worried about the San Diego Padres on August 22nd. I'd say we've had a pretty successful season. If you're still concerned, for all intents and purposes, Dodgers should have been up 14 games right now. Easy. 14, 15 game division, injury, schminjury. All I ever hear about is how deep and great that organization is. The fact that they're worried about what we're doing and watching our scoreboard tells me, I'd be a little concerned too. Now, they're playing great right now.
I'm sure there will be a moment over these next 6 weeks where you're concerned about the Padres. It shouldn't be
today.
Yeah,
not really.
Wait until they at least lost consecutive games once in the second half of the season before you get before you jump to the level of yellow.
Now,
alerts.
if they lose tonight,
then you can maybe more in the yellow category. But I'm not going to start getting concerned without even back-to-back losses.
I don't get concerned when this team falls down.
There were a season high 17 games above 500 yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday.
When this team gets down 4 runs, I don't get concerned.
There could be a season high 17 games above 500 again tonight.
Yeah.
If they win. That's actually cause for optimism, the opposite of concern. Let's get another one in here. I don't have any more mics in Chula Vista, so let's go to Larry in the North County. Larry, good morning.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Larry.
Hey, I had a perspective on yesterday's game. I tuned it in early. I'd just gotten off work. I really thought that they were going to try to go after Profar and start a little Donnybrook there.
Us too.
I just saw it because I knew the Twins had lost 2 emotional games to us. They're a good ball club. But I got to tell you, when Jackson Merrill came to the plate in the first inning with the bases loaded, that could have made for a totally different day.
Yep.
If he could have just put the bat on the ball it just would have been. That's why he hit the home run later in the game, because he was pissed off he didn't get the in the first inning.
I bet he
Thanks, gentlemen.
slept
Good
on
job.
that one.
Have a
Yeah,
good day.
I bet
he bad at bat. He had a line drive to center field.
Line drive to center field.
Just,
yeah,
they're
just
not all going to fall in.
one of those things, man. The ability to just knock somebody out early. This team is a late team. They're a late team. They have been all season, which is great. I mean, it's fantastic. I'm sure Mike Schilt, I'm sure we the fans, to get the blood pressure down. Yeah, 3-0 lead there off of Woods Richardson, who really was struggling with location. Would have been great, but the way Matt Waldron pitched, what did it matter?
Yeah, did he make a pitch to get out of the inning? I don't know. I loved seeing Jackson Merrill up in that situation in the first inning. Took the first ball and going, okay, he looks confident up there. I mean, he always is. Guy with no reason not to feel really good in that situation. Had an inside pitch, maybe didn't quite get it off the barrel. Still put it on a really good trajectory. If that's 30 feet to the right or left, it's probably a 2-run single or maybe even a double that clears the bases. It's not going to happen every single time. You hit the ball on the button, you make outs in Major League Baseball. But I was glad to see him up there. Let's sneak in one more. RJ.
Boy.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning, RJ. We got about 90 seconds.
Here we go. So I understand that we're depleted in the starting pitching role. I know that we needed Waldron. I know all the reality. I know all the facts. So it doesn't take away from the fact that when I'm watching the Padres and I know Waldron's up, I think there was a string of starts where it's like home run, home run, home run. Heck, I tuned in late to a game. I have the I have the app, so I rewound it. And I already knew the score was, and I knew Waldron was on the mound. And I went, "Bet you let off a home run in the first." Sure enough, I rewound it. Guess what? I'm a suit there. The guy let off a home run. So I think now that guys are getting healthier, that's great. I believe the Matt Waldron experience is over. He's definitely not going to be one of the starters in the playoffs. Should we make it? It's just not working. It didn't work. Like the other Mike number one. Yeah, I cringe too. Every time that dude's up, I cringe. And it was happening. It was sucking up eggs.
Sorry, you can't say that on the radio, buddy. Oh, God. All right.
Glad we snuck that one in.
Yeah, thanks for sneaking that one in. He drops an F-bomb.
I thought he said he was sucking up all the air in the room.
I don't know.
I wasn't sure what I heard.
I'm pretty sure what I heard.
You gotta.
Thanks for the call, RJ.
Thanks, man, RJ. Whew. He might have said sucking, but it sounded like he said something else.
I wasn't sure. We can't take any chances.
No chances.
It's funny. He said he was watching on the app. I actually never saw the 7-run inning. I lost all my cable and internet. I tweeted about it. I never actually saw that inning, which I'm kind of glad. It's fine. It sounded very painful for everybody else.
It's so jarring.
I was trying to get my app fired up, and by the time I did, it was already 4-0. I'm going, whoa! And then 5.
What just happened?
I'm going, what just happened? I can't even get online right now.
Don't worry about it.
All right, we'll come back. We got plenty more Padres talk coming up with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Thursday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Hey, look at that. That's Adam Klug. He's the architect of the Roundtable. You can join us after the program, after the 4 hours of talking about the Padres. You're going to get 1 extra hour today.
Will that be on his tombstone one day? Architect of the Roundtable.
Roundtable architect. Hey, where's the... I'm Woodsy, that's Paul, that's Ben. Where's the thing that was behind you?
I don't know. The big 97.3 The Fan...
Oh, yeah.
Screen. It was gone yesterday during the Annie and Elston program because they were talking about how there was all just pictures of me. There's my cardboard cutout and my Dave Roberts.
Grab that other white sign that's right behind you.
What is that one? Ben's glory hole.
It's just all me staring at them through the whole show. So we've got plenty of
Ben.
Me all over the place. There's me up there. You're spotting me in the gym. You go a little higher up there. There we go. So we got.
It's a lot of Ben in here.
All the Ben, all over the place.
Oh God. Well, they know they're allowed to bring stuff in as well. I mean, this isn't just the Ben and Woods. We just happen to bring stuff in to make it look.
Got the Ben Higgins Funko.
There is a lot of Ben in here.
A lot of Ben in here.
A lot.
You're such an egomaniac, dude. God.
This is all of us. Ben and Wood's first pitch. Yeah,
we can bring other stuff though. Yeah, if the end of the shows, just don't bring like Chargers autographed helmets.
And then they mentioned
one that was in here for like a year.
And then there's this Miami Dolphins helmet logo thing.
Here in Miami.
That's Chris Ella. He's the Miami Dolphins fan of the group.
Okay. So. Well, listen, it's jarring. I look over and I'm used to seeing that thing, and it's not there anymore. Now the light radiates in from behind you, but. As I mentioned, we are halfway home. We do have a round table today. How are the topics looking today?
Topics are good. Speaking of Chris Ello, he's been texting me in some topic ideas.
Oh, good. I like that.
You're more than welcome to do that.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether
you have anything you want to contribute, but
I did not
obviously
know.
We'll be discussing some of the same things we've talked about in the first half of the program, including Matt Waldron and the shortstop position. But it should be a good round table today. I think we got the full house. Jesse even thought about coming in and joining us. I never got the final RSVP.
I didn't
though,
either.
so
He doesn't have to.
It would be a surprise if he did show up. By the way, I do want to say that RJ called back during the break and was vehement that it wasn't an F-bomb that he dropped on the air. Now, the chat has its differing opinions. Some say they thought they heard the F. Others say they rewound the tape and they're just not sure. I thought I heard an S. RJ says he would never curse on the air and wanted to make that very clear. So his point of view has been at least considered, and we had to be careful though.
Yeah, man, sucking up. Matt Waldron is out there sucking up. Sounds a lot like something else, but RJ did call in. He apologized and said no harm, no foul, and we said no harm, no foul. We believe you, but we had to be careful. It's kind of like the thing that I say.
I mean, I'm listening back to it. It really does sound.
What do I say? What do I call Coors Field, Paulie? The House of Horrors.
House of
Horrors. And so now I have to say the House of Horrors because I usually say the House of Horrors because that's how I say it.
Yes, but we're not going to get in trouble
on
the radio.
No,
even if you did
say that.
Yes,
but that would be very disrespectful. And I've been to Coors Field as many years ago, and I don't recall anything like that happening. Okay, it's a house of horrors for the San Diego Padres, and hey, listen, as rough as last night was, I do sleep well at night knowing we don't have to play there again this season. We don't have to play that team again this season. That brings me a lot of joy in my life.
Maybe next week on our private member chat, we can take the audio and replay it as many times as we want because
I'm going to take the guy at his word.
Restrictions.
I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him at his word.
I will too.
I believe RJ,
but I don't even want to replay the audio.
Yeah, I don't.
It's dangerously
It's way
close.
dangerous.
Well, we just have to beep it out either way. So there's no point.
It won't do anything for us. But no, I'm looking forward to the roundtable. Now, one thing is interesting. So today is when my wife and I go to marriage counseling. I missed the no-hitter. The end of the no-hitter. And then what had happened the last time I was there? Like a walk-off? Oh, yeah, when they were down and they walked it up.
Back, yeah.
Today I'm good. But it's good luck. Every time I've gone, they've had some miraculous win. So I'm hopefully looking forward to that,
still have the luck will continue into the night game, even though you won't be missing any of the action.
You want to talk about a day. You get the 4-hour radio program, into the roundtable, into the marriage counseling.
Which I'm sure is emotionally taxing.
It is. It's tough.
Yeah.
And then you get into tonight. We have back to school night at the school. So for Hannah and I, so we have to go. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
You're racing through it to try to get back for the Padres.
Yeah.
game, though.
There's 2 shifts you can go to. You can
You're
go
going
to the
to-
5 or like the 7.
I'm sure you're going to the 5.
We're going to the 5, and we will be at the 5 today. And okay, those are the scissors, and yeah, construction paper there. Oh, that's a little cubby. Okay, right on. You do it. Happy to do it. Now we know the teacher. We know Bo's teacher. Hannah went to high school with her, so that's good. And yeah, you go check out the class and see how it all goes. Exciting times.
It's always weird to think of when you were a kid. Your teachers used to be like students themselves and went to high school.
Yeah.
They all were
They were adults.
just adults.
They're just
and they probably were
adults.
born that way
Yeah.
as teachers.
Yeah, it's we'd probably shudder to think what some of the teachers are up to when they're not at school. I mean, really, like based on the teachers I've known in my life. Now, I love teachers. I think you guys do a great job. But yeah, so we'll
They
do.
usually like to let loose and have fun though when they're not at school.
100%. Dominic says throw in a dentist appointment for a full day. I did that yesterday, the day before yesterday. So it's been a week, and I thought, with the kids going back to school, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna have so much freedom. I've been running ragged. I am cashed right now. So,
But the first couple of days, then you've got to take care of everything that you've
Put off.
neglected.
Yes.
While the kids were during the summer, but eventually, once you kind of clear the backlog.
Ooh, Brandon makes a good point. Should I go in tonight and say, "Hey, I pay your salary to the teacher"? That'd be good.
Which
parent-teacher night,
taxes you do. As much as the little leaguers pay her and judge's salary.
He says that's one profession I don't mind paying their salary for. I couldn't agree more. But
the dentist, when you're in the chair, do you
I
pay your
I
salary?
salary. He's like, yeah, no.
Oh, really?
About to torture you? Yeah, you don't pop off to your dentist. You got some huge
No, I'm
cojones.
actually seeing something on molar number 6 back there. Let me just drill right in there.
God, man, my crown they put in is just hurt.
I never thought about that. Dentists must get the most polite people all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
You
all
can't
the time.
be an a-hole to a dentist.
You
It's the
cannot
dumbest
say,
move you
You're
can
so
make.
handsome.
Yeah. I have the nicest dentist. Yeah, everyone does because we would never say otherwise and risk the dentist hearing about it.
That's the best tasting fluoride I've ever had.
It's funny
Wow.
too because
Thank you.
Because again, you're talking about like we always talk about athletes. Oh man, he was 0 for 4 yesterday, had a crap day, whatever, booted a ball.
They were about to go in with a drill into your mouth, though. You would say nice things about the athletes.
But the thing is like a dentist having a bad day is not good. Airline pilot having a bad day is not good for you. It's just not, and they're allowed to have them certainly. But a dentist with a bad day with an axe to grind. I told you guys once this story, but I used to go get, you know what body work is?
Body work?
Yeah.
Like going to the gym?
No.
Okay.
It's after the gym when I was exercising a lot more than I do now. My trainer said, "Hey, you got to go see my dude." And he will...
They put you on a machine and stretch you out?
They lay you down and it's like, "Oh, cool, I'm going in for a massage." Oh, no. It's a massage that I almost threw up after because it's so intense. They break up all the fascia in your body and he takes his elbow and he grinds it into your hamstrings.
So torture.
It's torture.
Torture.
It's an hour, and you're pouring sweat, but you need it to like recover. And trust me, Manny's on that table getting it every day. All those guys are on that table. My guy, though, the one day I went in and I laid down on the table, he starts doing me, and then he starts muttering under his breath, "Stupid B, how could she do that to me?" Like he had gone through a breakup. His girl cheated on him. He has his foot on the wall as he's grinding into my glutes, and I'm like, "Oh, you're having a bad day."
You're his rage
I'm
room.
his rage room, dude. As I'm laying there, and I can't even mock what he was saying, but you can imagine, like the dirtiest names you can call somebody as he's leaning on my back with his elbows and using the wall as leverage to grind down more into my glutes and my hamstrings. I left there. I was almost in tears, and I got outside. I had to sit in my car for like 30 minutes until my head got right. It was so
I just can't believe that
painful.
makes you feel better in any way afterwards.
It
Really,
does.
It does.
Oh, dude, it does.
Like after 4 days of recovery, you feel better?
No, you have to like break up all the fascia.
I've never had any fascia broken up in my body.
You would not make it. You wouldn't make it 3 minutes.
I know. That's why I don't do it.
You wouldn't make it 1 minute.
I haven't had that type of massage, I guess, but I've had
Lactic acid. That's it. It breaks up
I've
all
had
the
like
lactic.
shoulder work done where they're like just breaking all that up and just in one spot, not the whole body.
Yep.
And yeah, it hurts like hell.
And you're sweating
for like 5 minutes. But ultimately, once that initial pain goes away,
it's good.
You feel so.
You really do
10 times better than you did before.
I can do about 5 minutes with the massage gun when they do
this is
the.
not
That's
that.
about
That's
it.
this.
Yeah.
This makes the massage gun look like I'm giving you a foot massage. Really, I mean it's. And I'm like, what is this? Like $100? I got to go in and do this. It was torture every single time. This guy was psychotic too. And you saw black marks on the wall because he leaned in. His hands, he could rip like a. He could like break a watermelon in half with his hands. He had the strongest hands ever.
Now, can we have him bring a table in studio and we can see how long
I think
Ben
he's
can
in
last?
prison. I really think he's like in jail. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but he was like he was an edgy dude.
Diane
man.
said this is like Thai massage. I've heard that is the.
I had
that's
Thai
their
massage.
style though.
It is. They walk on your back
Yeah.
and they like hold on to things on the like.
Yeah.
This makes Thai massage look like going a trip to the zoo. This was the most painful, gnarly thing.
Trips to the zoo can be pretty painful too. Have you ever walked to the
I
zoo
have.
up and down those hills?
And
Ooh.
think about it too. I'm not a super muscular guy, so it felt like he was rubbing the actual bone. Like he would get so deep that I'm like, "You're bone on bone here, man." It was Benny. It was so painful. I bet you. I'd give you $500 if you could make it 30 minutes. There's no way. It hurts so bad. You don't like to be rubbed and massaged hard.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It is not pleasurable. It really is not, dude. It was literally like his elbow bone was grinding into my quad. I'm like, you're touching my femur. Like you're into my femur right now because I don't have a lot of muscle.
I don't even like it. Like when I use my massage gun, like every once in a while, like especially like on the back, when it
You hit
starts
your
bouncing,
spine.
it starts bouncing a little too high. You're like, ow! Okay, that doesn't feel good. Like,
You're the kind of person who tries a lot of these.
I try a lot of that
things.
stuff,
Have you ever
yeah.
done cupping? Elisa
I
says
have.
that doesn't hurt.
It does
looks
not
like
hurt.
it should.
It doesn't hurt at all.
It leaves these big marks.
It looks
on you.
gnarly. I had
All
it done
over
at
you.
fantasy camp last year.
You see all the dudes in the clubhouse when you go in. I saw Robert Suarez had marks all over his back. They believe in that. So cupping would be funny for you. It doesn't hurt though. That
I
doesn't
didn't
hurt.
feel a thing. I didn't even know he was doing it until about halfway through.
Yeah.
And then I looked in the mirror. I go, hello.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Looks like you get dotted in the back a bunch. You're all
18 times,
spotted. Yeah. I've done that. I didn't see a lot of benefit from it myself, but again, I'm not some premier athlete either. So, but yeah, listen, it all goes back to everyone's allowed to have a bad day. Look, Benny, there it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Paulie got cupped at fantasy.
How long does that last?
Like a few days?
Like a week.
A week?
Week and a half, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, it hurt. Anyway, I digress.
All right, we've got Eno Saris, some smart baseball coming up later this hour. I mentioned it earlier. Had an interesting piece this week about different mound heights. Like some ballparks are known for just having a really high mound. Others, like Petco Park, kind of on the low side. And does that affect like overall pitching numbers at the ballpark?
Sure. I want to ask him about Mount Waldron, too, and what he's seeing out of Mount
I agree.
Waldron. Yeah.
We'll get to all of that coming up. First, check traffic, then back with more. Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 8:21 Thursday morning. Got Eno Saris at the bottom of the hour, our Smart Baseball segment. I noticed a story this morning, and I wanted to bring it up because Woods, you and I are very much at kind of an inflection point in our lives. We're getting older. And I find more often every single day, week, month that things that 20 and 30-year-olds believe feel a little bit scary to me now. And I always didn't want to be that person that was afraid of change. Like, better ideas come along all along. We should always be open to better ideas, no matter how old we get. Never get so set in your ways that you can't adapt.
We should be embracing Hawk Tua and Young
Maybe.
Gravy.
I don't know. This one had to do with sports, though. I saw this morning that the NWSL has come out with a new collective bargaining agreement, and they're no longer going to have a draft. They are no longer going to be able to trade players without their permission. It simply is free agency. Players want the right to play where they want to, like the rest of us in jobs in the world. No one here can say, "Hey, we've just traded you to Cincinnati." Or when we start in radio, they go, "Yeah, you've been drafted by Cleveland, so you're gonna have to work there for 6 years before you go anywhere else."
True.
It doesn't happen in any other industry, but it happens in sports.
Well,
and they've decided they don't want to do that anymore. They just want to be able to play where they're hired and get paid for it. And if they want to stay there, great. Now,
so how do you get players if there's no draft?
You sign them. You sign them as free agents. They're out of college, whatever, and hey, you want to play for our team? Here's the contract we will offer you. They have to compete against other teams for that contract.
So
now,
it's like you're an attorney and you graduate. It's I always think of The Firm. Mitchell McDeere making the rounds, going to all the different places, and then he needs to be really wooed to sign that contract with Bendini, Lambert, and Locke in Memphis. They really threw the bank.
Now
at
there's
him.
still, I think, salary caps and stuff, so they can't just simply offer unlimited funds for. But the best players are going to get better offers, and longer contracts and deals. And essentially, they could be doing this in baseball and football and basketball, but they don't want to. Owners don't want to give up the draft. They like controlling players. They like to be able to trade their players when they need new players. It's a good system that works well for them.
Memphis. It's the wrong show, but it's fine. It doesn't still work.
And I have this thing going this is too revolutionary. You can't just get rid of the draft and trades and still run a sports league. That's not how sports works. You need to be able to trade players. You need to be able to have a draft.
So when does this?
But you don't.
When does this start?
It's new. I assume soon. They've agreed on it. So
everybody from here on out.
I think we've had our last NWSL draft. So the NWSL is, of course, the Wave. They won. Landon Donovan won his debut this week, 2-0. Congratulations to Landon. But yeah, they're not going to be any more drafts or anything going forward. The details are still coming out, but can you imagine if they just in the NFL all of a sudden? No more draft.
It's the European football model, as everyone is mentioning in the chat.
Which also has its drawbacks. I mean, they sign kids that are 4. Let's put them in their training program and control their rights for a decade or whatever. But yeah, it's sometimes there are better ways, and I want to stay open-minded to the fact that there could be better ways of doing things. But boy, that would be a huge change for our top professional sports if they ever decided, no more draft, no more, years of control before free agency, no more trades, no more trade deadline. You can't, if they want to go, sure, you can all say, hey, we've agreed to trade relief pitchers to this other team, but we have to ask them first because he may not want to move to Minnesota.
Well, they have,
other guy might not want to move to San Diego.
No trade clauses and things like that, but those have to be earned for many years. Yeah,
now they don't.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm down to try that. Certainly, I don't know. Does it work in other sports? Who is coming out of college but I guess it kind of works like that for recruits going to college, right? A lot of it now is you go to where you get the highest offer or the best chance to play or whatever, and there's a bit of free agency kind of going on in college football right now, and we haven't really seen it's funny, before we had all these rules, we had very dominant teams, very, very dominant teams, same 3-4 teams in the top 4 seemingly every year. So is this going to change it all that much? I don't know. But it does give professional athletes the opportunity to say, no, I don't want to go play in Tacoma, or I would rather play here, and I would maybe take less money even to play in a place I want to play.
Alan in the chat says the draft is anti-worker. Doesn't make sports fair. If that was the case, terrible teams wouldn't be terrible forever. Yeah, I mean, theoretically the draft, because the worst teams get the first pick, are a way to even out and level the playing field. But does it really work that way anymore?
Yeah, I mean, if the Chiefs got the first pick in the draft because they won the Super Bowl, would that be better?
Some say yes. Some say reward teams that are well run by giving them better draft picks. Stop rewarding the bad teams. And there have been too many cases where bad owners who don't want to invest in their product are then rewarded by getting good young players in the draft because their records were so bad. They get to pick first, and then they get superstar players, and they're being rewarded for mismanagement and not investing in their team or their players or their fans. And is that really the best way to go about running a business, to reward the worst business owners for their worst business practices?
Does John Fisher and the Oakland A's deserve, or the Sacramento A's, or the
any
Reno
draft
A's,
picks at all?
They're going to get like a top 3 draft pick next year?
Yeah.
The White Sox, yeah. They
Rockies?
definitely should get the number 1 pick because they're so bad. No, they probably
Rockies.
should
I'm
be
sorry,
punished.
the Rockies are the best team in baseball.
Yeah, they really are. From my perspective, they are the
From
best.
what I've seen.
They're the best team I've ever seen.
So the 27 Yankees and the 24 Rockies.
It's a good topic. I mean, it's a good thing to debate. Want to see how it. You're still going to have the haves and the have-nots. I mean, they have that in European football.
Of course.
Welsh Fryer said, yeah, they do this in Europe, and it's the same 6 teams that are in it every year. They have the most money. So is that really the best way to do it? I don't know. I mean, who's got the most money in the NWSL to go out and do it?
Ultimately, though, once one league is going to do it, it may take many years, but I would imagine that if NWSL players like this and it works well for them, at some point, baseball players and football players and basketball players are going to want the same thing. And they're going to go, works for them. Why can't we just do it? Just free agency for all. No more trades. We work where we want to work. That's our prerogative. That's our right as workers to get to choose, where we want to try to be employed. And you can't just send us wherever you want to send us.
And continue to do that throughout the course of my career. It's trade me. It's certainly interesting. And, you can see, obviously, pros and cons to both of it. But Curtis says the Waves owners have deep pockets. Yeah, I mean, could be potentially good for our NWSL team here.
Yeah, I think they've been fairly well run. Obviously, they've had some off the field headlines this year, and it's been a struggling season. But Landon Donovan, that was a good move to bring him in,
so far,
even as an interim coach to stabilize, get their first win. They're back Saturday night. Landon his first home game at Snapdragon Stadium as they get back to the regular season against Angel City. But a little NWSL news this morning that ultimately will have an impact on whatever your favorite professional sport is.
So it's done.
It's
that's
done.
Been approved.
It's done. It's been approved.
Cool.
It's moving forward. All right, Eno's going to join us. We will do Smart Baseball. We'll talk about Matt Waldron and more with Eno Saris from The Athletic coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Floor and Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor and Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor and Decor. Floor and Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. I do like saying Floor and Decor
I know you
for
do.
some reason.
I know you do.
All right, I like saying Eno Saris as well. We got some smart baseball coming up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a few things might slow you down. Crash the North County southbound side of the 15 past Deer Springs Road. Several vehicles involved. They are all in the center divide. Also a collision on the transition ramp south 163 at the West 52 connector ramp. A couple vehicles involved in that. Car fire on the northbound side of the 125 right before the 52. It's in the center divide. Looks like fire crews got the two left lanes blocked. Helping out with that. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time for the super polished, yet to be named Smart Baseball Weekly segment with Eno Saris, son of a bitch. Brought to you by 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from the ballpark by the bay in Chula Vista. Here's Eno Saris with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Good morning to you, Eno. We are getting close here. September is coming up. The pennant races are heating up, and the Padres are right in the thick of it, and that just makes everybody a little more worried when we see a game like yesterday.
Sky's falling.
Yeah, I can get it, but the knuckleball in Coors, and I know it's 2 starts ago, is disadvantaged. It doesn't get to move as much because the air is so thin. And then who knows if there's that sort of set him off. There have been Coors hangovers for other pitches and hitters, and so that's part of it. But I also just think that Waldron should be throwing that knuckler more like 50, 60% of the time. He was throwing it more when he was more successful, and I would especially love it if he threw it, 79, 80, and threw it, 50, 60% of the time. I think it's obviously his best pitch, and the others should be more surprise pitches.
Why deviate? Why deviate? We talked a little bit about the strategy yesterday, and it's funny though, because he's been struggling in the early innings, the first inning especially, and went out yesterday and felt like he was kind of holding the knuckler in reserve, but had actually a clean first and second inning. So, I don't know what it is, but I had a guy DM me and ask me, well, are they just clued in on the knuckleball now? They watch so much video. I said, you can't watch video on a knuckleball. He doesn't have any idea where it's going. No idea whatsoever.
Yeah, the funny thing is that the knuckleball on any one pitch will move most of the time like a regular pitch. Like if you didn't know it was a knuckleball and just watched it, you might be like, oh, that was a curveball.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was a changeup. But it's like a random number generator. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know what pitch it's going to be when you throw it, and that's why it's so hard for hitters, because it'll take any sort of movement. You can't anticipate it at all. And I'm looking at something like it's called pitch type values. It just adds up how good a pitch is, and it's his knuckler is very clearly his best pitch, and even over the last 3 starts, it's been his best pitch. I would just I would be ramping that percentage up. Yeah, he threw it 24% of the time against Minnesota. That's the
it was way down.
Not enough. Yeah,
but that eliminates the human factor here, which is obviously statistically it's his most effective pitch. He should be using it more often, but it also is a pitch that requires talking to Matt and hearing him say it, an immense amount of feel. And you get in the bullpen and you're not feeling it. I can imagine, because if you start adding a few RPMs to that knuckleball, it becomes a horrible pitch. Just a few tumbles, and then it doesn't move at all, and then you're just throwing up an 80-mile-an-hour straight ball to Major League Baseball hitters. So you can probably see why psychologically a knuckleball pitcher who doesn't think he's throwing a good knuckleball would want to get away from that thing as fast as possible.
Yeah, no, and he actually has, what seem like more credible Major League pitches than, R.A. Dickey threw 86 on the fastball, and Tim Wakefield, I don't even know if he threw 86 on the fastball. So, I can see why he'd be tempted to go away from it. But, and I think the other part is your pitches are only as good as how often you can get them in the zone. So You know what I mean? Like if he's throwing a knuckleball and it's nasty, but it's just always in the dirt.
Yeah.
And he can't put it in the zone, then they're just going to they're not even going to like sit knuckleball or whatever. They're just not going to swing until they have to, and that can get them in trouble too. So I get it. It's a dark art.
It is.
It's a special. They're a special breed, and what's fun about it too is when I talk to Dickie and Wakefield about this, I realized that they all talk to each other,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a little club that Waldron's now in. So hopefully, one of them maybe can reach out to Dickie or somebody and get some advice on what to do to get out of this funk.
Yeah, we had last couple games I was at down on the field. I was talking to Ruben Niebla, and then Tom Candiotti walked up, and Ruben's like, "See you later, Woodsy. I'm going to talk to Tom Candiotti about this knuckleball." And I was like, "All right, see you later. Whatever helps the club." Ben and I both really enjoyed your most recent piece about mound heights in Major League Baseball, and I didn't realize Major League Baseball, much like adult league, you don't really know what you're going to get when you get out there. Like, this is the mound today. They were talking about some of them that are like mountains, you know.
And then I assume, Petco Park must have one of the tall ones because it's not a good hitter's park, but that wasn't the case.
Not the case
either.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
Yeah, so I've been trying to figure out. There are some park effects for Stuff Plus, and so my idea, the Stuff Plus is like just the shape of the pitches. How good are they? But we know, for example, Coors, like it changes the shape of pitches, right? So in this latest update of Stuff Plus, we adjusted for altitude, right? But that doesn't fix everything. So the biggest home away factors for Stuff Plus is Tampa Bay, and you're like, man, that's a dome. Like, what's going on? It's at sea level. Like, what's going on there? And the newest thing I've discovered is that salt in the air is actually helps movement. So San Diego is fourth in sort of stuff is better in San Diego. Yu Darvish told me he started throwing his sinker in San Diego because it moved more. And so San Diego has salt in the air. Now, another factor might be the difference in mounds. And what we found is Houston and Philly. Philly has the fifth best home splits for park factors for stuff. Philly and Houston, who has second, they have mounds where, and it's hard to say this correctly because we can't measure the mound. What we can measure is the release point of the pitcher. And if you match a pitcher's release point in each park, you could start to say, oh, that's weird. The same pitcher in these different parks throws the ball an inch higher in Houston and Philly.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So you're like, oh, the mound is taller. But then, I talk to grounds crew people, and they're like, no. You talk to pitchers, they're like, oh, yeah. Tampa's super tall, and Boston's like, you feel like you're in the basement. So it's like, the pitchers, like, they feel it. You talk to grounds crew, and they're like, no. MLB comes, and they measure this stuff, and they look at it, and they care about it. But I would say this: release point is they don't release from the top of the mound, right?
Right.
Like no pitcher does that. They go down the mound. So if there's an inch difference, not at the top of the mound, is baseball capturing that? Like, do they have like protractors out there?
Right.
Do they have the slope? You know what I mean?
The slope
Do they have
measurement.
the slope of the mound?
Yeah.
They have the slope of the mound, or do they just say this is as tall as we say you should have the mound, and it's as big a mound, and so probably the slope is the same. But maybe the slope is done a little different in each, and an inch difference doesn't sound like a lot, but it does make a difference for how the pitch moves and how the pitch looks when it goes to the plate. So I'm always fascinated by park factors. One of the coolest things about baseball is that each of these parks are so different, and it affects the game so much. I think yes, a football might fly further in thinner air. You might get some. Denver in basketball apparently has a really strong home field advantage because people are gassed when they're trying to run up and down the court in Denver. But this is like really intricate. You're talking like pitches moving differently, the mound being different, the outfield walls are different, the ivy. I love talking about stuff like this because it's so baseball.
Well, you have to ask the artists, the ones that are out there doing the art. And those are the pitchers. And, I mean, the fact that so many people say, oh, yeah, Tampa Bay has the best mound, bar none. And then you see the kind of pitchers that Tampa Bay has churned out over the last, decade plus. And you're like, all right, tends to make sense. I did love, though, what James Paxton said when he said, if you think it's a problem, it's a problem. But if you don't think it's a problem, it's not a problem. It's funny, man. I've heard stories about the way Tony Gwynn picked out his bats and he could detect a flaw, with the naked eye or just the way it sounded. Phil Mickelson and his golf ball, his wedges. We've talked to the guys at Callaway that have said, you want to be in the torture chamber, build a wedge for Phil Mickelson. You know what I mean? Like, he will pick one up and go, it's an eighth of a... Nope. Yeah, nope. And it's just...
It's a micron off here. I can just feel it.
It's like maddening. And Paxton also said...
Phil, this is perfect.
This is just what you wanted.
Just built it.
Yeah, but the guys at Callaway, they were telling us that story. And then you hear James Paxton go, it's ingrained in us. If it doesn't feel right, it's not going to be right.
And it's kind of ironic that he went to Boston because he was one of the many people. Boston was rated the worst mound in that piece that I did. I think it was last year, but I was bringing it up because we got some new measurements and he was saying Boston was voted the worst. And when I started picking their brains on why it was the worst, they started saying things that didn't have anything to do with the mound.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's weird. So they talked about the backstop being really close to the catcher, right? So if you're on the mound and the backstop is really close to the back of the catcher, the fans are right there. So now you're looking at the catcher and the fans feel like they're on top of you, that way. And then you look over your shoulder and the green monster is just laughing over the back of your shoulder. And you're just like, this is the smallest park of all time.
You're done
and
for.
All of the fans are like in my jersey with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you're not like, you go to Oakland, right? And no matter what there might be salt in the air and the mound might be beautiful. Everyone said, oh yeah, I love Oakland. Well, do you love Oakland or do you love all that foul ground? And all the fans are so far away and the ball, your third baseman can go run for a mile and still catch the foul ball, So, there's a lot of sort of feel is real stuff going on.
I'm thinking of the Gene Hackman scene in Hoosiers with the tape measure. Hey, same height on the basket, same length of the court. It may be different everywhere else, but right here it's exactly the same.
Yep.
Eno Saris is with us from The Athletic. I've got this is just kind of an opinion-y question for you, but there are a number of players who are either just coming back or should be coming back soon, like Justin Verlander pitched yesterday. Yamamoto is on the rehab. He had a couple of innings facing batters. Obviously, Fernando Tatis Jr. could be back soon for the Padres. Who do you think is going to have the biggest impact now, returning player on the pennant race in the playoffs coming up?
Well, I mean, it is funny because baseball is a game of 26 or 40 in terms of men. It's we fixate on the stars, and yet it matters so much like how the full roster goes. And so I think all these guys are meaningful, but it's hard to say like one is going to change things. I'm a little bit focused on the NL West, though. There's an interesting thing going on here with the NL West where all of the wild cards may come out of the NL West.
Yep.
There's a chance of that happening. It would be pretty funny, I think, if that happened. And so Yamamoto means so much to the Dodgers just because their pitching staff is just dropping like flies. Glass now hurt. River Ryan comes up, looks good. Tommy John, Bobby Miller, I think, looks hurt to my eye. So, they are kind of scrabbling and they need somebody at the top of that rotation. So I think in terms of maybe one, that's the biggest deal. But in terms of vibes and also like momentum and things that I don't normally talk about, like the Padres are just nipping at those Dodgers' heels and like they're right there. And I just think, I think that the Padres, they've been making contact all year, but when they really started going well, they were making contact and slugging. And I think that was the difference in their hottest time of the year. Tatis comes back and makes it more of a slugging team. And I think just a really good lineup where they can go toe to toe, and they're getting back. They got Mac Musgrove, and then you still throwing, so they have their arms coming back too. But Tatis, everyday player, that could be the answer too.
Quickly before we let you go, just got a couple minutes left. Just your thoughts on Joey Votto's retirement.
I think he's a Hall of Famer in terms of play on the field, but also just a joy to cover. One of the most cerebral guys about the game, one of the most interesting guys to talk to, and just a funny dude that was, basically a troll.
Yeah.
He had this really funny sense of humor where he would just be playing around with people. Like his appearances with Chris Russo are amazing. If you ever seen him in the Mountie hat, a lot of the stuff that has nothing to do with how he played in the game also made him such a great dude. And he let us in a little bit into what his mindset was and what his life was like. And he obviously struggled through them times in Cincinnati where they weren't good. But just a perennial all-star type player, just a really, really good player that I think is a Hall of Famer. If you look at the list of people who've had 400 OBPs in a season, he's done it 7 times. The list above him who've done it more times, they're all Hall of Famers. And it's all like Musial and all the greats and Hornsby. And so I know that, people tend towards big things like homers and RBIs and stuff, and maybe he doesn't fully stack up in some of those departments. But in terms of slash line, in terms of what he did when he stepped to the plate, he's a Hall of Famer.
Joey Votto came on our show late in 2022 and told a story about former teammate Brandon Drury that was 100% false.
Yes, and got us. He got us in trouble. Drury was pissed at us. So, yeah.
So he's a troll, dude.
He's a troll.
Yep. Yeah, we got firsthand experience of that.
We went down to the ballpark within a week after the interview, and Drew was just mean mugging us.
He was giving us the Manson lamps, dude.
We had to ask somebody else, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he was not happy with that interview." And we're like, "What? It was a great story."
Great story. Yeah,
that's not true though. Never happened. So, thanks, Joey.
Got us.
Thanks, Joey. Eno, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next Thursday.
All right, thanks,
thank you, buddy.
Smart Baseball with Eno Saris, brought to you by 7 Mile Casino. That's Joey. 920 career OPS. That blew my mind.
Stupid. Dude.
I mean, on base percentage. The guy could get on base as good as anyone in baseball.
Why do we like him?
Gets on base.
He gets on base.
He gets on base.
Yep.
When he points to you,
That's what I said. Yep. Gets on base. Got it. Thank you, Billy Bean. All right, we will come back. We got a final hour of Ben and Woods coming up, including some headlines with Paulie on the Roundtable Report. We get our Throwback Thursday look backs, and we got a bet
I will
series.
have one of those funny clips that Eno just mentioned about Joey Votto.
Oh, excellent. All coming up in the final hour of Ben and Woods. Don't go away. More on the way next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Mentioned it a little bit earlier. Padres did not get a ton of help yesterday. In addition to losing, the Dodgers completed their sweep of the Seattle Mariners.
Got a little spicy there. Did you see that?
What happened? No, I didn't actually see the end of the game.
Jack Flaherty hit Randy Arozarena in the. At first I thought it was in the butt, but it was actually in that spot right above the butt. So it was kind of like in the
small of the back,
the kidney. So it was curveball, but Randy. Speaking of Manson lamps, Randy looked at Flaherty like, "I'm gonna kill you." And just kind of stared at him. Now, they had the interesting
Is that
thing was,
frustration coming out, though, because the Mariners are not hitting?
And Randy's been horrible.
He's been terrible. Turner hasn't done what they were hoping. They were trying to, juice up their offense, and it just hasn't worked.
I think it's frustration because it hurts.
Yeah,
just like
true.
Jurickson Profar throwing his helmet down, spiking his helmet after he gets, 94. Or no, it was actually a breaking ball that hit him in the knee, but he's been hitting the knee 20 times. And so, yeah, you just get frustrated, and you're like, I'm not really mad at you. I'm just mad that it happened. It's like when your kid hurts you. You can't get mad at your kid. Your kid hits you in the throat or pokes you in the eye. You're like, God dang, dude. You're mad, but you're not mad at them. They didn't do it on purpose.
Rip your head off.
Right, exactly.
I've done that with my wife before.
Of
I'm
course.
like, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation. I'm hurt.
Yeah,
Ow,
it's just,
or whatever.
you hurt me.
Yeah.
I know that. I know you didn't mean to, but oh my God. But then...
So he got hit, and then it was his next at bat.
He flies out, and he's running down to first, and Flaherty starts jawing at him, and then Randy's like, "What?" And then the benches, come out, and Flaherty is talking trash, walking away, which is, really
the Dodger way.
The Dodger way. Kind of happens a lot.
Diamondbacks rally. They were down 6-3. I thought, well, Padres lose. At least the Diamondbacks are going to lose. Nope. They come back to beat the Marlins 10-8 and complete a sweep. And salvage a Florida split after they got swept in Tampa.
Yeah,
they actually ended up 3-3, so they're probably pretty happy with that result. The Giants did lose to the White Sox 6-2.
Bob Melvin got killed.
I mean, they took 2 of 3 in the series, but you're really hoping and counting on the sweep when you play the White Sox at this point.
You had Logan Webb, who was dominating, and he was at I want to say it was like 92 pitches, and Bomel pulled him, and they coughed it up, and you lost to the White Sox, and it's like,
Eno mentioned, it could be all 4 playoff teams from the West, but that would require the Giants winning some of these, all 4.
All 4.
Well, all 3 wild cards and a division champion, and that'll require the Giants winning some close games, and they're having the same difficulties that the Padres did last year. Under Bob Melvin, 1-run ball games.
But they won those the year before.
They did. I'm not saying it's Bob Melvin. I'm just, whatever floated down to San Diego last year floated up to San Francisco a little bit with him this year. And I'm sure it wasn't a 1-run game, and I'm sure losing to the White Sox is not going to take anybody out of the
listen, I was
8 innings.
I
saw your tweet.
He went 93 pitches.
I saw your tweet.
I'm not saying anything because we still have to play the White Sox, and you want
the 3 most terrifying games of the year left.
I mean, we had our Rockies scene, and that sucked, man. But this team,
nothing good can happen against the White Sox.
I mean,
you win all 3.
You're supposed to.
All you get is the 3 wins that everyone else got, and you should be getting. You lose any of them, and you feel like
you're like, we are the worst.
Oh,
it's going to be excruciating. And
Dodgers also have 3 against the White Sox left.
Yeah. So it's not fun, man. It's not fun to play those teams at the end of the year that are literally sitting there going, this would be fun. This would be really fun to beat a team that really needs these games. I mean, yeah, those guys are playing for something. They're playing for jobs. We talk about it all the time. They're going to give their best effort. And so, yeah, it's just those games are excruciating. Man.
And then there's the Mets who got the walk-off win. Mentioned Jesse Winker's home run and crazy celebration, and they took 2 of 3 from the Orioles, and now they come to Petco Park for 4. We'll look ahead at that series coming up. But the Mets are the team. Well, you think the Padres are snake bit and, cursed. Mets fans will fight tooth and nail and argue that they are the most cursed baseball team out there. And they're trying to, is the bottom going to drop out from the Mets at some point?
Hopefully
Mets fans
today.
always think they will.
Hopefully it
Maybe
starts
today. This is when it happens. So we'll talk about that coming up. Right now, though, Paulie's got some headlines. It's time for our Ryle report.
And get things started here with our
Today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest. Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So, just a few minutes ago, we had Eno Saris on the show. You guys asked him about Joey Votto, and he called him a troll. He is a troll. And he meant that in a very complimentary way, as do I. I thought Joey Votto, I put it on my Instagram story yesterday when he announced his retirement. Top 3 interview on Ben and Wood's history?
Oh, yeah.
Like, easily, right?
It's funny because
Freddie Couples, Joey Votto.
if Joey Votto was a mediocre player, then he's kind of
A jerk.
He's a jerk. But because he's, a Hall of Famer, he's quirky.
Yes.
That's the only difference.
You win 20 in the show, you can let the fungus grow back on your shower shoes, and the press will say you're colorful. That's him. He's colorful.
He's colorful.
Well, he had fun, man, and a lot of guys don't. He had fun with the game. He had fun talking about the game. He's one of my favorite players. I've got a Votto Still Bangs shirt. I was going to wear it today, but I remembered I had the Roundtable, so... but I love Joey Votto. I love everything he's
I would have
about.
worked on the round table.
Yeah, probably.
And we wouldn't all be wearing black T-shirts then.
Probably true.
Yeah, so I was thinking at first when I saw the news, I was like, I got to go pull probably the Brandon Drury story when we had him on our show. But then John Boy posted this interaction from a couple years ago, I think this was. He was still with the Reds. And Mad Dog had him on High Heat, Joey Votto. And you want to talk about a troll job. Listen to this. I'm sure we played this when it happened.
I'm sure we did.
It was such a good clip. Wanted to bring it back.
A couple of months ago, you said that Zach Greinke and I are a hall of very good ball players. I think Zach and I would agree. You may be right. But I get the gist of what's going on here. I know what you're doing. You're looking down on us. A couple small market Midwest ball players. Just because we're not big city, just like you. Mr. New York City, Sirius XM radio star. Mr. National Television, ESPN star, with your Fifth Avenue ties and your crisp pocket squares, your tailored suits and your polished shoes, and your hair, your perfectly coiffed Broadway hair. Must be nice to sit atop that Madison Avenue ivory tower, looking down on us with those luscious locks. Not everyone can be the next Roger Peckinpah, Mad Dog. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're a disgrace.
Love it.
Has anyone ever said Mad Dog has perfectly coiffed hair? I don't know.
I'm looking at it now. Doesn't look too bad, but he is in like a really nice suit and a nice tie, and he's got his pocket square. I mean, it's really, really good.
Now, Joey probably can't see him during all of that. He's just guessing because he's on a remote camera, and you don't usually get a monitor anymore. So, yeah.
Kudos also to Mad Dog for once letting somebody else have the floor. Just letting him.
And getting the joke,
And
too.
getting the joke, man. Usually, it would panic me. I'd be, what? And then once you realize it's a joke, man, it's so good.
I got another update here. So a couple days ago, I told you guys about Daryl Doucette, and we talked about the quarterback for Team USA flag football. And
coming to the Olympics in 2028 in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and he was kind of representing the guys that have brought the flag football sport to the Olympics and saying, look, you can't just automatically input the NFL stars into our sport. It's a different type of football. We helped grow this game to this point. Let these guys have their shot first. And he's talking about how they're going to hold tryouts and everything like that.
So that was...
And I understood where
I
he
understand
was coming
his
from.
point. I do. Of course you want to go play in the Olympics, Daryl. I totally understand that, man.
Then I saw the interview that he did with TMZ Sports yesterday, and I thought, this guy is absolutely delusional, and he's lost his mind. Listen to who he thinks he's better than.
Listen to this.
At the end of the day, I feel like I'm better than Patrick Mahomes because of my IQ of the game. I know he's, right now, the best in the league. I know he's more accurate. I know he has all these intangibles. But when it comes to flag football, I feel like I know more than him.
Sounds like Ben Higgins saying that he could beat Steve Sugimoto at
So
golf. That's
he
what it sounds
I'm
like.
sure that that he does know more than Patrick Mahomes about some of the strategies of flag football. But I think he's underestimating the talent gap between himself and Patrick Mahomes.
At the end of the day, I feel like I'm better than Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, come on. What? What?
I mean, he acknowledges he's more accurate. Yeah, better arm strength.
Stronger,
he's got all the,
faster.
But
Super Bowl rings.
My mind is going to make up that difference. I'll tell you what. The mind doesn't make up the difference in pro sports. It can be a differentiating factor between two great athletes, someone who really knows the game and is savvy and smart. But you don't make it in pro sports because you're smart. Pro sports because you're smart. You make it because you're athletic and talented. And that's why Patrick Mahomes gets paid millions and millions and wins Super Bowls, and you're the flag football guy that no one had ever heard of until this week.
I think I'm better. What does it say again?
He says, glad you
I
asked.
think I'm better than Patrick Mahomes.
At the end of the day, I feel like I'm better than Patrick Mahomes because of my IQ of the game. I know he's right now the best in the league. I know he's more accurate. I know he has all these intangibles. But when it comes to flag football, I feel like I know more than him.
Okay. I mean, I guess Patrick Mahomes will go, all right, well, let's give me 45 minutes. And give me 45 minutes, man.
Now, you know what the interesting thing would be? Give him 0 minutes.
Give him 0 minutes,
Just,
Go
basically, you tell me in the huddle what the rules are here, and I'll see if I can go up against this guy and which one of our teams does better.
That is,
I don't know.
I guess I like the confidence. You have to have it if you want to be. You want to be good. Whew.
Yeah. And finally, got a new streaming service.
I feel like I'm better looking than Brad Pitt. I feel
because
like
of your IQ.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm better looking.
He's got the muscles, the tan, and the
money,
hair.
the hair,
but the IQ.
I feel like I'm better looking than him. Please don't take that out of context because that would be very bad.
All right. Saw a story yesterday that there's a new streaming service coming that nobody asked for.
Are we sure that this is real? Because I thought it was fake.
I'm reading from Variety.com, and they've got their finger on the pulse of Hollywood. And so, yeah, you've got Netflix, Max, Hulu, Peacock.
Got them all.
Paramount Plus.
Every one of them.
Well, be on the lookout for the new Chick-fil-A streaming platform.
I hate it here.
Yes, Chick-fil-A.
I'm ready for the asteroid.
What sort of content are they going to be putting out?
What did you think? It says the fast food chain is working with Hollywood production companies and studios to develop a streaming service that will be centered around family-friendly, mostly unscripted original shows.
Unscripted.
It's a reality
unscripted
TV.
Reality.
Family-friendly reality.
You just know
television?
that there's going to be like a Wednesday night baseball package on Chick-fil-A, and we're going to have to watch a Padres game next season. Like 2 Padres games next season on Wednesday nights are going to be on Chick-fil-A TV.
I'm Don Orsillo, and this is my spicy chicken sandwich. Welcome to Petco Park. It's
Chick-fil-A, according to Variety, they are also in talks to license and acquire content that they didn't produce, and one of those programs would be a game show that's already been given a 10-episode run.
Do they want a radio show? Let's just try it. You have money. I feel like when you just have money to burn, they're like, what should we do with it? I don't know. Let's just.
Are those Eat More Chicken cows going to get their own programming?
Let's call Kirk Cameron and see what he's up to and do some programming with him. Oh my!
Now, I don't know where this number ranks because it says here Chick-fil-A has just over 3,000 restaurants in America, and Chick-fil-A has the highest per store sales of any fast food restaurant.
Not surprised,
even with the lower number.
Yeah, have you seen the drive-through lines?
It's bananas.
They're doing quite well.
Yeah.
Had that peach shake.
Oh God!
Recently.
I won't let myself have it because I know it'll be so good.
I've had it before,
that
and
I can't even let myself go there.
I saw that it's like, oh, peach shake is back. I'm like, I can't do it. I know it's.
I had one. I gave myself one.
Did.
I give myself one a season.
Yeah.
Because if I had my superpower of being able to eat what I want and never get fat, you'd be sucking on one right now. You can rest assured. The only problem is
Every show.
The only problem is there's little peach bits in it, and it gets stuck in the straw. Then you give it a pull, and and then you have like a little bit of
the pipe gets backed out.
You have like a bit of peach in your throat. So you like the best way to eat it is to rip the top off and just drink it from the top. But then you get peach mustache after that. But I'm telling you, when you have one sip of it, you do this. You have one sip, you go. You have to hold yourself up on the panel. You're like, oh my God, it's literally unbelievable. So
good.
It's I think they're still around if you want to try one. They are really good. Have you ever had one?
Yeah,
you have?
Not
Okay.
this season, but I think a year or two ago I had one, and I can't let myself ever do it again.
It'll get you, dude. It will get you. All right, well, we look forward to that. What are they going to call it? Chick-fil-A
TV,
Network?
Chick-fil-A streaming service.
There's no details yet. I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know how much it's going to cost. I don't know any of that. But yeah,
everything. I mean, everything they touch is turned to gold so far. So I'm interested to give it a look. I'm going to keep an open mind about it.
I also saw, before we go to break, if you're watching on the YouTube stream, we did have somebody, Adrian, tweeted us in and said, because we're all wearing the black T-shirts.
Yeah.
I mentioned it earlier in the show, and he said, we look like the Blue Man Group. And then he put up a Photoshop of
Yeah, all right.
I just had to throw that in there. Very well done, Adrian. Well done.
I hate it here.
Don't forget, you can tune in this afternoon and every Thursday, not this afternoon, this morning at 10 a.m. for 97.3 The Fans commercial-free Padres Roundtable.
Look at that.
Featuring Ben Woods. I'm very happy. Annie and Elston, Gwen and Chris, presented by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. For takeout or delivery, go to roundtablepizza.com. Roundtable, the last honest pizza. It's pizza royalty, Woods.
Look at Ben's face.
All right, it's
He's
our
so happy.
Throwback Thursday clips coming up next. Paulie will take us down memory lane when we return on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Traffic next. Throwback Thursday. Ben and Woods. Paulie always does a good job diving into our archives on Thursdays. We have now 6+ years of history to draw from, which is kind of fun because I always forget about some of these segments as well.
I forgot what we did yesterday.
And yeah, exactly. And I believe today we're going back 4 years into deep into the pandemic.
Yeah, buddy.
Like 4 months in.
Yeah, I hadn't seen you guys in like 4 or 5 months at this point.
Weird to
We're
think
up at the
about that.
Corona Cave.
Yep.
Paulie's the only one in the studio by himself.
I think we had Zoom cameras. We weren't obviously on YouTube yet, but I think we were able to like at least see each other so we could kind of get some communication going. But
Woods, you were in my bubble. I was in your bubble,
Yep.
which means our families are we were in the bubble together. And you actually brought Bo over to the Corona Cave.
Sure did.
how old would Bo have been in August of 2020? That's like 2.5?
2.5.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, Bo was in, and we've had him in several times. He loves to show off his Padres knowledge, and this was one of those first clips. You're gonna hear some throwback names, but it's just to see Bo now. I mean, now he's like, "Hey, Dad, can you help me shave?"
Yeah,
Right?
he's
You know,
like he's a little man, dude.
the voice. It absolutely murdered me yesterday when I found this clip.
Say hi, everyone.
Hi, Bobo.
Say hi, Paul.
He can't hear you. There he is.
There it is. Done, dude.
That was nice.
You want to do the Padres lineup like you did last night?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Jake,
Knopf.
Eric.
Woods.
No, not Eric Wood. Eric Ha.
Small.
Will.
Where did I say that?
Will.
Miles.
Yep. Manny.
Manny.
Fernando.
Tatis.
Very good.
Wow.
Amazing.
That is a smart kid
Well done, sir.
that you've got right there.
Almost got me. Really. It's so weird to hear that.
Less than 4 years later, he's sitting in here and naming each player
Yeah,
by number,
by
and taking down a tier 1 in a competition. So
Carlos said Ben looking at him in disgust. He hates
No, that's
him.
Taylor.
Oh, that's Taylor.
He hates Taylor. I love Bo.
That voice, man. Oh, my God.
What a cute voice.
You want to do the Padres lineup like you did last night?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. You're going to get me, bro. I'm serious.
I found that clip last night and I played it on the computer. And my wife she was weeping. She goes, "He's so big
He's
now."
so big, dude.
Oh man.
Picking him up from school, and he's just like walking. He's like, "What's up? Well, how's your day? Good. What'd you play? Kickball, basketball. All right. You want a snack? Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man.
It will always be just one of my favorite things about this show. However long the Ben and Woods show lasts, we started in March of 2018.
Right when he was born.
He was like 6 weeks old.
He was 6 weeks old, dude.
And
he has grown up with this show. It's
Hannah
nuts.
brought him in on our first morning after the show, and I got to meet her, and I got to see Bo, who was just 6 weeks.
Tiny. Little.
And to see him now, it's truly special. It's
Watching
been
him
so
work
much
on his
fun.
backhand in the street yesterday, I'm like,
man.
good God. It's amazing. He has literally, this show, he's grown up.
And everybody, it's just a bit. I don't really hate Taylor, even though he calls me Ben and Woods.
He does. Who's that? Ben and Woods.
Ben and Woods. No, it's just Ben.
Ben and
Your
Woods.
dad is Woods. I'm Ben. I'm Ben
So
Taylor.
good.
Well, that one pulled at the emotional heartstrings. This is a throwback clip that Woods probably isn't super fond of, but
I don't care anymore.
This was from 2 years ago this week, so 2 years after Bo came in. And
Good message to get out to everybody.
Yes.
Of a certain
Yes.
age, after 45 or so, you got to make sure. Go to the doctor. You want to get it checked, just to make sure that nothing's growing down there.
That's exactly right.
But when that time comes, make sure you follow all of the
Right.
directions
Correct.
very carefully. Here's about a minute of Woods explaining what happened to him this week in 2022.
I told you guys a couple of days ago that I finally got around to doing the Cologuard. And then I told you how I took it down to the UPS store, and the girl looked at me and just said, "You're good. Just leave it there." So, yes,
She knows what's in
on the front porch, a Cologuard box. Guys, I sent it to myself.
You sent yourself doo-doo in the mail.
My own doo-doo. Why?
You might be the first person ever to send yourself your own doo-doo in the mail.
What did I say on the air? Like, I always thought I would send a box of my doo-doo to somebody as a prank or to one of my haters.
You sent it to yourself.
I sent it to myself. Also proving the fact that I hate myself so much. Then, so poop again. So on the box, It's sent to Stephen Woods, and it's their return address. All I had to do was peel this little strip off the bottom, rip the label off, and then it's their return address. It goes back to them. I was so domed out by the entire process, I
awful.
neglected that step. And I sent it came back to me. So then I had to just roll the dice and rip the label off and try to resend it. Then guess what happened? Sorry, my sample had traveled across the country.
Too old.
It's too old. Had to do it again.
Expired.
Yep.
I thought that was incredibly funny. Of course, I got my own comeuppance a few weeks later when it was my turn.
I will never forget this.
To do the cola pour. I did not send it to myself.
Yours is worse.
I sent it in. I followed the directions to the T.
Clearly not.
But apparently, my sample was rejected for being too large. We need less, sir.
This is way too. What is this guy? What happened to this dude? I can't work with this.
What did you eat?
I still, like Shohei Ohtani makes how much a year? Like all $70 million.
Yeah.
The guy that works there that does that, that's the guy that deserves $70 million a year. $70 million a year. And he may
in
be
the Cologuard mail room.
in the Cologuard unboxing area.
Oh, Ben Higgins from San Diego.
Oh my God!
Is Ben Higgins a grizzly
is
bear?
he a bear? It's unbelievable, man. That guy deserves $70 million per year.
I don't know that that's enough.
I don't know that it is either. I don't know that you could pay me, just me all day. They're just.
I'm gonna assume they're provided some sort of
It doesn't matter.
PPR,
It
personal
does not matter.
PPE, personal
You put me in a
protective
suit of
equipment.
armor, a bubble. You put your hands through the bubble.
They're
It's got the
like scuba tanks or something where they've got the
tanks, all of it. 70 million. Just all right, Woods. Welcome to Cologuard. It's your first day here in the mailroom. All right.
I still don't think I can do it.
This is
even
what
with
we
all
do
that.
here. Just the whole day. I'd be 110
Just opening the box.
Opening the box
even if I
makes
was
me
in a
sick.
bubble and a suit or all that.
Paulie,
opening the box and just seeing it and be like,
you're coming. It's just looking at it. It's disgusting. If you go in the bathroom and somebody else is in there, you're like,
especially if it's Ben and he just left a 10-pound turd in there.
I'm telling you, dude.
Holy crap.
And then it's like everybody has to do this. It's a good way to do it. Fine. But that day when you're in your bathroom and the door's shut and you're like, what has become of me? And the thing is, they give you that thing you wrap around your toilet. You just sit. You're like, oh, this sucks so bad. The net. And you're like, my wife's in the other room. Like, this sucks so bad, dude. There's got to be a way when I don't have to do this. And then when you grab it and you have to add the liquid, that's it. You're like,
how long was it before Hannah saw you different in a better light after that?
It was a while. It was a long while. She took me to my colonoscopy and all that. And after I was just like, it's fine.
Don't even you don't even have to look at me. I get it.
6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. I don't care.
There's no coming back.
I
from
fully
that.
understand.
Mailing it to yourself.
What just happened? So I fully understand. Holy cow! Yeah, you put the little flag in it. Yeah, I remember all of it. It's the worst. The worst.
Plus, if you're the mailman, even like you pick up the box, you
You're
know
like,
it.
you're like, ah!
Does it say Cologuard on the
Yeah.
side?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's up, dude.
I'm just sending him some reading material.
Big box. It is
Not
so
what you
gross.
think it is.
So gross. All right, go to break. Ugh.
All right, we'll come back. Final segment of our show before the roundtable. We'll do a quick look ahead at the Mets Padres 4-game series starting tonight at Petco Parks. Coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Oh, those Mets. They are in town. Got here early yesterday. They had the first game yesterday, so they walked it off, headed to the plane, flew to San Diego. We're probably comfortably in their hotels by a reasonable hour and are now up and ready for the San Diego day and the start of a 4-game series tonight at Petco Park.
4-gamer. Woo, mama.
We will talk about this important series in our final segment here right after our last check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a couple problems to let you know about. One of them is some Caltrans work that is affecting traffic on the Coronado Bridge heading off the island to the southbound 5 connector, so do expect a little slow traffic there. Also, a collision on westbound 8 right before Mission Gorge Road. Those vehicles are over the right shoulder, and a crash clearing in the North County, northbound 15 before Felicity. That's over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So, start with some good news. Padres will open the 4-game series with the 3 pitchers that have performed the best most recently in their starting rotation, with Dylan Cease, Joe Musgrove, and Michael King handling the duties at the start of the series. Today is Dylan Cease's turn, and while he has been a little up and down earlier in the season, it's mostly been up lately for Dylan Cease. Did have the weird rain delay game and then not a great start, but bounced back in his last outing and looked pretty good.
Just had a no-hitter, so that was pretty good.
That was really good. Now, Dylan Cease did face the Mets back on June 16th.
Not great.
No, I mean, the whole series didn't go well for the Padres in New York. They got swept. But Cease was hit around. 7 hits, 7 runs in 3 2/3 innings, walked 3, only struck out 5. Might even go down as his worst start as a San Diego Padres. So he'll be looking to turn that around for sure. I don't know that that's always telling. No. Whether that means that'll carry over and he just have his number, or he had a bad day and now they'll see the real Dylan Cease and go, this is not the guy we hit around in New York. Tonight for the Mets, Luis Severino will pitch, and he is coming off an outstanding start. He went complete game. You don't see many of those lately. 4-hit shutout against the Miami Marlins his last time out, and that was on Saturday. So 4 days rest, and then he is back. And while that, he's hot, you're facing a tough pitcher. That's true. You're also facing a guy who threw 113 pitches with no extra day of rest coming in. So my guess is the Mets are going to be somewhat, if not cautious, they're certainly going to be very aware of his pitch count and where he's going. And, Padres, even in yesterday's game, what did they get on Simeon Woods Richardson? First inning, he threw like 30-some pitches.
Yeah, they drove it up.
They tend to do a good job at making starting pitchers work. I would imagine tonight that will be a key in trying to work Severino, who's coming off a good outing, but a deep outing with a lot of pitches. Make that guy work. And, I think the Mets have a decent bullpen, but you'd probably rather get into that than see Severino go deep into the game. So that'll be one of the keys for tonight's series opener.
He's a hard thrower. I mean, his four-seamer sits around 96, 97, Benny. Throws his sinker a lot as well, so it's kind of a nasty pitch mix. And then the sweeper is also a pitch he throws as well. If you're Manny Machado, be ready to see some sweepers, I'm assuming, coming your way. You just hope he hangs one. But he's been really good for them, man. They got him picked him up in the offseason. They've really helped him. He stayed healthy for the most part, and he's a good pitcher. I mean, but we were talking off air. The hard throwers, this is a contact team. The San Diego Padres, knock on wood, don't strike out a ton. So, you have a really good shot at beating him today. But, it's the other side of the lineup, too, that Dylan Cease is going to have to navigate through. They've got some really, really good players, Benny, in Francisco Lindor, who is now, being mentioned. And I think Passan wrote an MVP piece about Lindor that dropped today. So I've not read it yet, but he's been a really good player for them. And, of course, you got the polar bear who likes hitting at Petco Park as well. So should be a good one, man. It's going to be really playoff-esque. And what we do know is there'll be, 160,000 people in the next 4 days watching this team. So if you're out there, be loud and get nasty.
Padres will be going up against righties the first 2 games of the series and then lefties the last 2 games. I mean, if you've been observing what Mike Schilt has done, I would think that we'll see Tyler Wade at shortstop today and tomorrow, and then probably Mason McCoy on Saturday and Sunday. Again, my concern, and we'll talk about it in the roundtable as well, how much offense are you giving up there? 4 more days of those guys, and waiting until Ha-Seong Kim is off the injured list without just basically without doing anything. Just hoping those guys now. Hopefully they're defensively they come through because if they make some defensive mistakes, then you're really not getting anything out of that spot. So we'll see.
That's really all I'm looking for 2 9-hole hitters. Right, two. I mean, really, just don't screw up defensively. Anything you give us offensively is a boost. You've got a really good lineup. You do. You have a 1 through 7. And the catchers aren't really hitting right now, either of them. So I think 1 through 7, this team is really, really solid, and keep that rolling against Severino. Who's it's
tomorrow?
Severino.
Yeah, and then it's Paul Blackburn versus Joe Musgrove.
Okay.
David Peterson against Michael King on Saturday, and then Sunday's finale is Martin Perez against Jose Quintana.
Didn't he carve us up, Quintana? I think that's the one that almost broke me earlier in the season. I think he carved the Padres up. So
6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run.
Yeah.
6 strikeouts. So
sounds about right.
Not that it's impossible, but this first 3 games are the ones where you think the Padres, if anything tips toward their favor, it would be the Padres. The last game, the Mets are looking like, okay, I like our chances in that one. Remember, the standings are important now, especially when you're going up against a team like the Mets, who are the first team outside of the National League playoff picture. They're currently 5.5 games behind the Padres, and the Diamondbacks, and 1.5 games behind the Braves for that last playoff spot. So they clearly will have this series circled as their best opportunity to go in and make up ground on a team that they have to pass at least one of those teams. And they'll go, well, let's sweep the Padres and we'll get within a game and a half. Now, if the Padres win the series, take 3 out of 4, that would leave them 7.5 games up with about 30 to play. That's close to insurmountable. Obviously, anything can happen, but you are in a dominant position. Even if you split the two and you're still 5.5 games up with 30 to play, that's a huge mountain to climb. So the Mets pretty much say, we have to win 3 out of 4 or 4 if we want any chance of catching the Padres in this playoff race. So huge series here.
They're going, they're going to be playing these games like their hair's on fire for sure. And, I let the chips fall where they may, man. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a really good atmosphere. They're a good team, but I do feel like the Padres are a better team. But yeah, we're playing at home. Take your opportunities. We need it tonight with Dylan Cease. He's been our ace this year, and he's got to pitch like one tonight.
It's an off day for both the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. So you win, you're 3.5 back, and you're back in the lead of the wild card race. You lose, you're 4.5 back, and you're into second place in the wild card race. Both teams will be back tomorrow. The Diamondbacks are still on the road. They go to Boston for 3. That's a big series because the Red Sox are just outside the playoff picture. They need wins as badly as any team right now. So they got 3 in Boston. And the Dodgers are at home with the Tampa Bay Rays in town for 3 interleague play. Rays did a nice number on the Diamondbacks last week. Hey, go ahead and do the same thing to the Dodgers this weekend. But tonight, neither of them are in action. So Padres kind of control their own half-game destiny tonight in the NL West in the wild card race, depending on what they do against the New York Mets.
Got to have a bare minimum a split of a 4-game series,
Yeah.
Benny. You don't want this thing to get back into that mode where you can't let the Mets come into your house and do their thing on you. You need to take care of business tonight, and you got the arms to do it. Bullpen's ready to go. So yeah, these are huge games, man. I can't wait. I'm gut checking as we speak. Like, all right, everybody ready for this for the next month or so? It's gonna be exciting.
Absolutely. I think. There's no reason you should lack any faith in the Padres.
Are they gonna do that stupid march through the gas lamp this weekend?
Do they do that
the
too?
Mets march?
Yeah.
Is that them?
They do that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's like bigger than the Dodgers.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Where was I? In a
don't remember
cave?
this?
I think I was on my ayahuasca retreat or something. But did they? They do that? Oh boy.
I can find it. I'm sure. I know for a fact they do.
There'll be some Mets fans there. It's a New York team. You got people all over the place. I think it'll be mostly Padres fans.
Oh gosh, Janine says Met fans are the worst. I hope members didn't sell their tickets. They're not the worst. We know who the worst is, but it's close second. I don't like the Mets. I don't even want to see Italian Paul's face. All right.
You got the Jesse Winker subplot, his return to Petco Park. Didn't think he'd be back again this year after the Nationals only make the one visit, but he gets traded, and now another trip.
Somebody made the point, you ruined his playoff chances once this season when he was with the Nationals. Let's go ahead and do it again now that he's with the Mets. It's going to be a tough challenge. I did not know they do the...
Oh, yeah. They, take over downtown.
Oh, God. This bit. You guys going into games?
Going Saturday.
You are going Saturday? What about you, Benjamin?
I'm excited. It's going to feel like a playoff atmosphere.
Really will.
I may go Sunday on my way into work for the day game in the afternoon. Oh no, wait! I've got my club championship this weekend, so probably not going to go on Saturday.
You getting some practice in?
I did. I got some practice in on the simulator.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Earlier this week.
How's the game?
I think pretty good. I'm just going to try to really focus on one shot at a time. I
don't know that anybody cares. It's like me talking about my ABs on Sunday.
That's all these guys I cover in whatever sport it is, They always take everything one at a time.
That's right, just one at a time.
I'm not as good at that. I like to look ahead. I'm, project things. Hey, if I can just birdie one of the next 4 holes and play, I do a lot of that, like sportscastery, but maybe not best for my own personal success. So I'm going to channel my inner pro athlete and just go the very boring, one shot, one swing at a time.
Lisa says, "quote I've got my club championship humble brag. It's at Goat Hill. It's the Goat.
It's the Goat.
This isn't the fancy
golf for the common man.
Yeah, it's golf for the common man
and woman.
How do you like your chances?
Well, in the gross overall competition, I have 0 chance.
Right.
It's like flag football guy going up against Patrick Mahomes. They're better golfers.
I was
than
hoping
me.
you were going to give us a sound bite.
With the strokes, my handicap's about a 5.
You get 5 strokes.
There's a chance that I could make some noise in the net competition.
I would like to see you make some noise.
But even to do that, I'll have to shoot around even par, which I have done and can do on my good days at the Goat. I've shot 3 unders, my record.
Will you do your parlor trick on Monday?
Go through the rounds.
Walk us through your best round.
It's 27 each day, so that's a lot of golf to remember.
Pick one.
I will do my parlor trick for you.
I love that parlor trick. He will go shot by shot, and he remembers everything. We're killing time because we have a roundtable in 3 minutes.
I know. I'm hungry, so I've got 5 minutes to scarf down some roundtable pizza.
Stay right here.
And then welcome everybody into the commercial-free roundtable.
Hope these topics are good.
The ones that I came up with?
Oh, any of them.
Feel free to bring up some topics your own.
I didn't know that you wanted help with roundtable topics.
I didn't ask for it, but I'm certainly willing to entertain it and accept it if it comes my way.
Because you've never asked for much help on the roundtable.
Would you have wanted me to ask you? I didn't feel like I feel like it was already enough that you were here, that asking you for more help on the roundtable is probably
not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
Yeah.
But if you had something that just popped in your mind, feel free. Blurt it out at any moment.
Well, I'm excited to rehash what we've just done for the last 4 hours. We'll do it again for one more hour.
There's always a semblance of that on the roundtable.
Yeah.
Just make Adam come up with the topics.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Would he host it then?
Hey,
everybody.
Shortstop.
Welcome in.
All right, that's it for us. Back tomorrow at 6 for Ben and Woods. Otherwise, stay tuned for the roundtable. For Paul Ryle, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Talk to you in a minute here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.